If you all are going together, you don't understand that?
Stop. Alright, checking if we're live.
Waiting for the loading
fights. It fights well
There
or
we go.
against the punishment.
Okay.
Just went live. I say, did you share what you've got so far, Cygnus?
I
haven't.
Okay.
I think he's gonna work on the. Do you want the PTU one that I've been?
Let's
rolling out?
do PTU first, just so because this is where my expertise ends. So I'm gonna be like I'm looking at I'm looking at a class right now, and I understand how it's kind of set up. And I made that Hex Maniac the other day, so I kind of know how it's working. I understand there's prerequisites, there's an effect, there's notes, and some other things. So I'm going to let's do a quick intro, and then I will go ahead and we'll just get started. So hello everybody, and welcome to honestly, this is just kind of a casual live stream. Let's build a Nuzlocke class for Pokemon Tabletop. I am your humble GM Stuart, and I am attempting to build a PTU class, and then I'll actually know what I'm doing when I'm building a PTA class. So,
gosh, no, you won't.
If you, guys, sorry, what was I saying? All right. If you are interested in this, this will be a supplementary lore packet for next month. It says January 2018, but in reality it's August 2018. So this will be a Nuzlocke player class for PTA and PTU. And before you ask, no, this won't necessarily involve death. The idea behind this is if you let your Pokemon faint, you suffer consequences. But if you keep going on a streak where your Pokemon is winning constantly, and you follow all the Nuzlocke traditional rules, then you'll be fine. So, real quick, let's actually mark down the traditional Nuzlocke rules. So I'm gonna go down.
Casual and Nuzlocke should not be in the same sentence.
Casual Nuzlocke. Really? That's actually pretty.
Let me put down the Nuzlocke rules in PTU. And PTU.
I gotta head out and deal with some
See ya.
bullshit for a sec.
Okay.
Please don't
Nuzlocke
swear on
rules.
my channel.
Aww.
All right, Nuzlocke rules. So the first one is players
You must nickname your Pokemon, actually.
Must
must
nickname, yeah.
nickname all Pokemon. Okay, we can handle that. That's pretty easy. Most players do that anyway. Let's see. Next one. If
You have to capture the first Pokemon you meet in the area.
capture the first Pokemon you meet in an area.
In PTU, that might be a bit difficult with larger groups of Pokemon.
Well, it basically, if you meet a big group
Yeah.
in encounter, means you have to capture one of them.
Mhm.
It's just going to give you a bit of an advantage because you can pick from the cream of the crop instead of just saying, I stepped on a Caterpie.
Pokemon.
Actually, the more or less I asked, like, how exactly do you justify that when you basically when you have your team, like, there's a rare Pokemon here and it's the first one on the route. Say, okay, everyone, back off. This is mine, but I won. It's my story character, but it's the first one on the route.
Let's go with a just because this is Pokemon Tabletop. You are playing on a team, so you may not use traded Pokemon.
Yep, that's another. That's actually another rule in the thing. You can't be given Pokemon. You can't be gifted them. You can't trade them. You have to use what you get.
That is actually an entirely different gameplay through, is where you only use Wonder Trade Pokemon.
The Wonderlock.
Yep.
There is the rule of fainted Pokemon must be released. You could also flavor it as you give it to little children, you donate it to towns to help them build up.
All right, fight the Pokemon.
You donate it to science.
They die.
All right. So yeah, we're gonna have to translate. Like the chat's going nuts. It's like, oh, you can't do that. Well, hold on. We're gonna have to translate some of these because, like Route 3 may have like 3 zones. So your GM will probably have to determine what different zones will constitute as what. Like, let's say I have. Let's use the moon. Let's use the moonwalk from my game. So the moonwalk actually has like 3 zones. There's
Mhm.
there's the lake, there's the forest itself, there's the time tree, there's the underground, and yeah, that's kind of like 4 zones in one route. So you could capture 4 Pokemon on that route, and that's
Yeah.
pretty
That's-
generous.
That's the one with the
Yeah.
cave, right?
Yeah, the one with the cave at the bottom, where the
So, like, for-
Alolan Ninetales was.
For that one, I would classify it as. I would classify that actually as 2 routes because the stopover that's on the other side of the bridge that was broken down.
Mhm.
I would classify that as a separation between 2 routes, because you do get in the video games of when you have like little things like that, it is actually kind of a separation of 2 routes sometimes.
Okay, well, either way, like, enter a new zone, that kind of thing. So let's, you must capture the first Pokemon in each an area or zone. You
I
cannot
say also this is GM dependent because the GM would have to agree to have this homebrew class anyways.
Yeah, so we'll have to work out something, even if we'll work out something there. We'll just go down the list. Are there any other rules I need to be aware of? Because these are the big ones.
Those are the known rules. There's a couple of other, there's a bunch of other optional rules if you want me to go through those.
You know what? Let's do that. Let's have the must rules be like the core class features, and then the Nuzlocke optional rules below that.
Warning,
Yeah.
there's a ton of them.
Yeah.
Let's just get the most popular ones. I know the only Nuzlocke I ever watched all the way through. I watched TFS's like I didn't watch Lakeeger, but I watched Tantor. Tantor. I watched Tantor, and I watched Mumkey's Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon one.
There's actually a rule that I actually like, is one from Pro Jared, that he doesn't use items in battle.
So no items in battle. Let's see.
Yeah. What you could also do is because some classes let you take a rank multiple times in PTU to get more stuff. So what you can do is you can make a couple features that are your core features that the must rules on underneath, and then you have a ranked feature that you can take this like you can take it multiple times, and each time you have to select one of the other rules, and it gives you a certain benefit.
Yeah, that's like Hex Maniac with the hold on, I know this one.
Yeah.
I know this one. I'm so proud.
I know this one! I swear I know!
A round of applause for Stuart, everyone.
Yay!
Best GM!
This
Yes.
is thanks. Hooray for the creation of Bone Lord.
Okay, no items in battle. May not have more Pokemon than the opponent. Let's see.
I guess someone's in here is talking about traded Pokemon with NPCs. I guess that could be an additional rule because I know NPCs you have to have a specific Pokemon in game for them to trade.
That-
So like the one in like what is it? I think in Gold and Crystal, you trade a Bellsprout for an Onyx.
no, that's
gotta-
underneath the general rules.
Alright, gotta head out now. I'll see y'all later.
Okay, see ya.
And, quickly, last thing I'll say, Stuart, if you won, if you actually stay with my game, I'll allow you to have this class just for the fucking.
It's gonna be more of an Ace Trainer class than like a Hex Maniac class, dude. This would not mesh well with Bone Lord.
Yeah, I'll see you
I
later.
feel Bone Lord's gonna probably lose a few Pokemon here and there.
Yeah, no, Bone Lord. Okay, so may not have let's get some more rules in here.
Limiting the number of uses to any specific Pokemon Center is one that I've known a lot of people to use.
True.
Okay. Uses. Okay.
I'm trying to remember some. I haven't really
Cannot
watched
ev-
Nuzlocke.
You cannot evolve Pokemon that you have caught.
What?
Ew.
Oh no, no,
no.
no.
Oh,
I'm not
that
saying
is-
it's a great one, I'm saying it's one that people have used a number of times.
Alright,
Which
let's-
actually is not as much of a deficit in PTU because of all the underdog capabilities or underdog.
No, in PTU, trust me, very, very few underdogs are better than the evolutions. So
No. I'm saying, yeah, there are very few, but you can overcome a lot of the facts that they're worse with the Poke edges that you get for keeping it an underdog.
Yeah, it's basically I'm not giving me a shot in the foot, but I'm still throwing like a knife in it.
I mean, also, Roberto, this is also a class where you're stabbing yourself in the foot anyways.
Yeah.
There's going to be a benefit. There's going to be a benefit to these. Another potential rule is a mercy rule, where if we're having this as ranked, one thing you could do is you could basically get a one-time revive on a Pokemon.
That could be cool. Like the highest level Nuzlocke rule, like a rank 3 Nuzlocke run feat. That could work.
Yeah. Because that's the thing. Because also, if you're playing in PTU, it's because the thing is, when you're fighting a wild Pokemon, you can always run if your Pokemon's getting low and just avoid battles. But sometimes you have to fight gyms or trainers or stuff like that, which is when the Nuzlocke gets hard. So
here is one that I know probably should never be used in PTU. If you black out, it's game over. You restart your game. So in PTU, that would mean your character is gone.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure that's no, but I'm listing it as one of the known ones in case someone in chat brings it up.
Blackout, whiteout, retirement. I'll mark it down just as an optional rule.
Yeah.
I mean, you could also put that down as an optional rule, like, you do that, but it's not so much your character ends, you just lose the class, and you don't get any of the features or anything back.
You just lose the class.
Oh
okay.
my God,
the class is wiped from your skills, you don't get any of your features back, so everything you've invested in it is lost.
You get hit in the head so hard, but so hard you forgot who you were.
Here's a good one. No restatting evolutions.
Oh, that's interesting. Actually,
No, because that breaks rules though, because that's gonna end up breaking the that could break the
base stat relation.
Base stat relation.
Except
I think that actually I just said you can ignore base stat relation. So I think that for that would be interesting if the class actually allow to break the base class.
That could be one of those, like we're talking, the optional ones have benefits. So it's you can't restat on evolutions, but you can always once you take that feat, you can break the base stat relations.
Yeah, that would be awesome in PTU actually.
Well, according to one rule I saw, it was you're not allowed to use any IV or EV trainings. So like that's why no restatting would work for. Or at least that's the idea behind it.
Well, I mean, as IV EV training, you can't. I mean, there's one that happens anyways because that's you gain from fighting.
Right. No, the idea is you don't go out to a pond and search for a specific Pokemon to IV train your EV train your Pokemon.
Wait, hold on. Starman Theta says also base stat relations is bad and you should throw it out. The devs recommended throwing it out. Really?
PTU is not really the most organized kind of game.
I mean, I like the base stat relation as long as like it's fine. The only one that I hate is when they say that the lowest one has to stay the lowest. I understand keeping the highest because that's Pokemon's main thing. So like the lowest one is the one that annoys me. Because sometimes your Pokemon will have the lowest one be the HP, and that pretty much means you can only take one attack and then you're dead.
That actually is how that works in Pokemon. Like, no. So I think they follow the game pretty well in that point, because no Pokemon that is a physical attacker is going to become a special attacker. Like they are still going to have a higher attack set.
All right. Well, let's. I like what we got so far. Let's work with this. That could easily crunch out like 8 feats. So.
Yeah.
So we will call this class for PTU. We will call it a Nuzlocke runner. You think?
Try harder.
And you could also give it a flavor text, whereas they're given like a gold VIP badge for their league registration, and as soon as they if they blacked out, that's like they lose their card. That's them like losing the class. So it's like everything is tied to this like little like it's tried to like kind of like how you register to League with your license. It's registered to like the Pokemon League that you're taking the challenge. So they give you a card, and this card is the thing that gives you the benefits.
Mm-hmm.
Like for instance, we could have a feat down the line. It's like you can't use items in battle, but items are 50% off at shops because you have this card.
So it would basically just buy snacks then.
Well, it'd kind of be like the thing. It's kind of something that you get from the class, and this gold card is what's going to give you like the benefits. And like you can go like for the Pokemon Center thing, you can have this card, and the Pokemon Centers be like, "Oh, we've already registered you using our center 3 times, so sorry, we can't service you."
I'm sorry, I'm sorry you are dying. Sorry you're bleeding out. You can't be here.
But that's what I'm saying is like this could be the thing that tracks your progress.
Okay.
And
I know, but I just think it's funny.
Okay, who? You are really loud, Roberto. I'm sorry. Just letting you know.
Okay, I'm going to learn my volume a little.
Thank you. That's all. All right. So what stat should this class increase? I'm thinking like HP.
So it doesn't have to increase a stat as a note.
Okay.
Yeah, so like because this increases your trainer stats.
Mm-hmm.
And
Okay.
most classes, unless they're like combat classes, don't really increase the trainer stat. Which this I don't see as being a combat class. I see this more being along the lines of like a supportive.
Okay. One of the prerequisites I'm going to make is make them level 5.
So, a different way if you want to make that prerequisite without being like saying level 5, you could have in PTU you're only allowed to have one skill at rank adept at level 1. You get another one at level 3, and you get another one at level 2.
Yeah, I was gonna say you get your second.
And another one at level 4.
So 3
So
adept
what that
skills.
means, if you have 3 adept skills, that would force you to be level 5 at minimum.
Or you have to have an expert skill, and that's level 6.
Is my mic better now? Sorry. Stuart, is my mic better?
That is much better, thank you.
Okay.
That would require you to be
Queen
level
Poseidon.
7.
Oh, 100%
level 6.
agree. 100% agree with Stuart because that was a good idea. I'm afraid I don't know.
What you're referring to, Queen?
Oh, I think the level 5.
If it's not a combat, it does. If it's not combat related, it doesn't increase stats. Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
And then, all right, that's
Which
fine.
I mean, unless you want to give this one like it makes your character have speed because that allows your character to take actions earlier in the fight. As a trainer. So if you're not taking if you don't take the thing that restricts you from using healing items, you get to use healing items higher in the round, so that way you can keep your Pokemon alive.
I mean,
I would hold off on that and make the bigger part of the effect first, because that stat point also kind of accounts into some of the cost of the effect that you're using.
yeah, and I mean, some features can be used as interrupts, truth be told. So instead of making you faster, some features maybe you can use as interrupts. I think that would be better.
This is a bonus to your like trainer, as like these like the bonus you get for features.
I know, but
Yeah.
normally non-combat classes don't get those.
Okay.
Well, no,
All right,
those-
so that's fine. So the effect on this. So
This was the one we were thinking making the nickname one. Like if you nickname the Pokemon, you get +2 in any base stat.
under the effect, if you
Under the fact.
if you nickname a Pokemon, you get. Wait, hold on.
I think it was +1.
Your nicknamed Pokemon get a +1 to a chosen base stat. Right? Something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
pretty much.
Two chosen, or do we want to make it
2.
1 point or 2?
2 chosen.
Just one, I think.
How about 2 chosen base ones?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that allows you to put basically if it's a physical Pokemon, put up its attack and put up its defense.
Okay.
So.
The
And then
devs are-
reverse, if it's not nicknamed, you lose 2 points.
Non-nicknamed Pokemon lose. Or was it? Is it loot? I'm trying to match the language that the devs are using, so it is.
Don't try.
Yeah.
Really.
I'll say you could say just gets a -1.
Gain a -1 to 2 random base stats.
Roll a d6 twice.
Roll 1d6. Oh, 1d2. 1d6 twice. 2.
And then you can say like 1 is HP, 2 is attack, 3 is defense. Oh wait, no, it'd be there's 7. Is there 7 or is it 6?
There's 6. It's HP, attack, defense, special defense, speed.
Okay, yeah.
So
there's 6.
d8.
No, it'd be a d6.
D6.
Yeah.
HP.
And then we'll have to tie the numbers in so that way they can't just say like, oh, 2 equals is special attack.
2 is attack.
Yep.
Yep.
HP, attack, defense, special defense, speed.
Gotcha.
And then also at the end of this needs to include the fact that when a Pokemon faints, it's off your team.
Okay.
Because that has to be a part of the core, because that is like that's the main core thing to a Nuzlocke.
Okay, so
I was
notes.
literally told to come here in the stream. What?
Hello?
In general of the Discord, somebody says I was literally told to come here in the stream.
Oh, hello, Loot.
Hey, dude.
Hey.
Heyo.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. So
Stuart's trying to create a PDU class, so insights.
So someone's saying that basically getting a +2 for nickname is basically bogus because it's just basically 2 free vitamins. But yeah, it's 2 free vitamins, dude.
It's 2 free vitamins, and there is a massive negative downside to this as well. Which
this class is going to be more so on the negatives than it is the bonuses, basically.
So
It's going to be more so if you don't follow the rules, you gain these negatives.
upon taking this class, your trainer has entered what will be referred to as a
VIP League Challenge.
Nuzlocke League Challenge. There we go. I don't want to call it a VIP league because it sounds like, oh, this is a great thing. When really it's...
This guy's is special. He kills his Pokemon. I'm sorry. I'm going to stop these jokes about killing them. I just can't resist.
Oh, well, this is where it works out because I said if you like notice how you have that card, so that you have to use this card anytime you check into a Pokemon Center. And so when you use this card to check in and they're healing your Pokemon, if they revive any of your Pokemon, the nurse says, okay, either they like take this from you or you have to release it in our site. Basically, prove that you're still part of the challenge.
Yeah. Your trainer will gain a special trainer card that they must have in order to receive in-league benefits such as Pokemon Center Restoration.
Yeah, I would say that basically if you're taking the Nuzlocke, like, I don't know, a loose campaign we have to pay. I know a couple other campaigns, like if you go to the center, you have to pay.
Oh, how about this? How about this? Such as free Pokemon
Free
League.
healthcare.
Yeah, free Pokemon League healthcare.
You can have free healthcare 3 times.
Restoration. So free Pokemon League Restoration. Shopping at all official Poke Mart locations.
Or I'd say Poke League stores, because if you don't go to Pokemart, say you go to this guy, but he is affiliated with the Poke League.
Poke League locations, and and all official league, all official league challenges. Okay.
You probably lose first or second fight with this class. Not really. I mean, honestly, as like we were talking about this before the stream, but I mean, I'm playing 3 campaigns and I've played well a decent amount of sessions in, and we've had many fights, and I haven't lost a single Pokemon once. I haven't had a Pokemon fight in any of my haven't had a Pokemon faint in any of my campaigns.
Yeah, definitely unprepared. Hi guys, there are people on Twitch who are saying I'm unprepared. You are correct. I am winging this as hard as I can. So this was
Try
just
to fly, Stuart. You can do it.
all right. So I think this is a good note. So let's name our first feature.
So what do we want it to follow?
Do you want to do the? Oh, as I say, I mean, we had 2 features outlined. If you want to grab off those.
Yeah, I listed a couple in the Discord. Let me just so I can have their flavor names because I like the flavor names I came up with.
Also, Stuart, I kind of phase out for a second. As the first feature, as the class feature, you have to grab when you grab the class. Don't you think instead of the naming the Pokemon one, you shouldn't start with the releasing? The about releasing Pokemon, that's kind of the main thing for Nuzlocke.
Well,
That's what the note is there for.
That's what the note is there for.
Oh, okay then.
So it's still part of the main class feature. It's just that's the effect. It would kind of be a lame if the only effect for taking the class was now you have to release them if they die.
No, yeah,
I mean,
makes sense.
So what we could do is we could just like technically you could take a 1 class dip into this. Like
What?
shouldn't? Oh man, actually like most of this is gonna rely on the notes. Like
Well, not necessarily. It depends on some of them. Like for the catching the first Pokemon in an area, one thing I did to try and make it, when I was looking through it, function, is it says in the first encounter on a route, the first capture attempt you make requires no accuracy check and gets a -20 on the capture attempt, which is really, really good. All other capture attempts you make have a +200 modifier applied to them. You almost can never catch something else.
Unless
Okay.
you take
unless
a
you get
really,
little crap. Okay.
unless you're gonna take you attack this Caterpie, get it down to 1 health, and then you try and catch it, because I think
And then you paralyze, and make him sleep, and then you burn him. Then
And you're still
if you want to catch a
10 or
secondary
something.
Pokemon,
thing
it's
is-
gonna be very
the thing-
hard.
The thing is, too, it's still possible to capture because of critical.
yeah, that's true.
It
That
gives
is true.
players
I-
a chance to feel extremely lucky, while also being like, you chose this life, have fun.
Okay, so what is this? All right, so I'm looking at class, and I'm looking classes like Statace, and I'm seeing like a thing saying branch. What does that mean?
Because in
okay,
the
hi.
class... Okay.
Okay, branch is a special features in PTU have tags. Class being the most common, indicating that this is a feature that belongs to a class. Branch is a specific tag which only gets assigned to the first feature of a class, the actual class feature itself, and indicates that this class involves some kind of choice. For instance, the researcher, you choose your research paths. The type base, you choose what type you're associated with. I believe, off the top of my head, it also indicates you can take the class multiple times as long as you take a different option each time.
Correct.
Yes. For example, you can be like 4 types of researcher. It's kind of weird, but you can.
You can go researcher, 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 researcher. I have been considering building that character.
I mean,
Do it.
I
Do
have
it.
a-
That sounds actually
believe I have
amazing.
a double researcher
So,
somewhere.
Okay.
Huh.
So that'd
This
be
is a
like if you
genius.
wanted to. That'd be like if you wanted to do. So in essence, you could actually make this. You can make this a branch one, and then you could write it up so it's got the Nuzlocke classes if you branch into Nuzlocke, or if you branch into Wonderlock, or if you branch into Egglock.
let's do that later.
I was just
You are dumb.
I was giving an example to Stuart.
Okay.
Like
yeah.
if you did want to branch it, you
Oh,
would
okay.
like branch it and say this is a branch, this is a branch, and this is a branch. So
Wonder
like
if you
each
could-
lock is a different branch, basically, is what it would be if you made this a branched feature.
Okay, so let's go by this rule real quick, just so I'm sure on how the formatting works. So I've the whole capturing the Pokemon. So what would be the trigger for that? Like, just so I know the formatting here.
So you don't have a trigger, you just say static,
Okay,
which means you
static.
cannot turn it on or off.
Okay.
Yep. And then this wouldn't be a branch. You can take branch away.
Okay.
because that's basically when you when there's different ways to build the class. Basically, you're giving these are all the options for the class. Pick what you want. A branch is like you can either have this set of options, this set of options, or this set of options.
Oh, so like that would stop you from doing other things. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So a branch basically says if you go down this tree, you can't take from these other two.
Understood. Okay, thank you.
Unless you take the class again.
Okay, static. So, whenever you attempt to capture a Pokemon on a in a new location, you may ignore the first accuracy check. Wait, what wording? Give me a new wording for that.
The first capture attempt you make requires no accuracy check.
Capture attempt requires no accuracy check.
Yeah.
And you receive a -20 bonus?
Yeah.
Modifier to your capture roll. Cool. Any other Pokemon you attempt to capture on that route,
Or say in location.
in that in that location, receive a okay.
Plus 200 modifier.
Yeah, plus 200 modifier to your capture roll.
And then you can also put in the notes that location is deemed by GM.
Okay. Location is deemed by GM. Should I put an example?
Nah.
No, I would leave it as deemed by DM, just
Okay.
to make it clearer and not have note upon note upon note.
Mm-hmm.
So that way, you'd like say you want to do this, and you're saying, okay, every time we go to a map, you can capture someone thing, but some other GM is like, no, it's the same route. You don't get to capture another thing.
Yeah.
Okay, that works. Chat, what do you think? Makes it look, the way you phrased it looks like the first throw only. The first
It is.
It is. Yeah, it's still only the first throw, I would think.
I would say first encounter.
Okay, the
Yeah.
first.
Because in a battle, like in the Pokemon games, if it breaks from the ball, you can throw at it again.
Yeah.
All right, the
The
first.
issue is-
Maybe even first Pokemon instead of first encounter, because some
first
encounters
Pokemon
can't be multi-Pokemon.
you attempt to capture requires no accuracy check in your to your capture.
Okay.
Let's say capture rolls.
Should bring this up. What about the duplicate clause? Or anyone?
Oh yeah.
You know what? No. We'll call it. Is there such a thing as one chance plus in PTU?
You could make it ranked,
Okay.
or we shouldn't because we're already having a different one that's ranked.
Yeah, because the ranked one is where you can take the bonus rules, and you get
Okay.
bonus benefits.
I would put that one chance plus if we're going to have a duplicate rule underneath the other ranked rules, as it's an optional Nuzlocke rule.
Gotcha.
Uh,
Okay.
The Battle of the Pidgeys against Lieutenant Surge is.
I was gonna say, if this is something you could determine, but this is something Cygnus thought up, as well as like some classes allow you to give your Pokemon an ability.
Okay.
So this one would allow you to teach for 2 tutor points. Teach your Pokemon Sturdy, which
Okay.
means they can't be taken out as a one hit.
Okay.
Or I believe is it critical as well, or just they can't die in one hit?
Oh no, it's actually way worse than that. Just like once
Yeah.
per round, they just don't faint.
Yeah. But it's 30 is really bad in PTU.
Yeah, it's actually kind of busted. On the LCC Discord, we have our own version of the playset called Spellbound.
Immune to sheer cold guillotine.
Mage Man, we are playing PTA 2.0, my friend. We are playing a way worse version than what you are playing.
So,
because Stuart is bad at Pokemon and he only understands the PTA rules. So let's call it. What should we call this rule? Like,
Last Stand is what I had called it.
that's what I'm thinking. That was exactly what I was thinking.
Wait, you guys were you guys saying that?
Captain Red asks what the hell is going on here. There is a tabletop system made by a bunch of fans of Pokemon called Pokemon Tabletop United and Pokemon Tabletop Adventures, and I'm not getting into the development history behind those, but Stuart's making a custom class for those based off Nuzlocke.
Stuart, do you want me to send you the one that I have that's written up in form?
That'd be nice, yeah. I don't like copying directly, but yeah, that'd be nice.
The other thing I gave this to make Sturdy less bad is that once per scene, you can still use it to stop any attack that's putting you below 1 health. That way it's not just 100 to 0 and you get to survive. It's once per scene you can be like, I am basically using Endure.
It seems like Sturdy's just like how it is in the games.
Really?
It is.
No, it's it is like it is in the games, but the problem is, it's way harder to finish any Pokemon in one hit in PTU.
Yeah, sure.
Mage Ben, right now we are doing the PTU version of the class.
Yeah, we're doing PTU. I can work PTA. I know how PTA works, so I will do that one myself.
Stuart can take that and run away with it.
No one knows how PTU works, truly.
I know how PTA works. Stop.
I said PTU, not PTA.
Oh, PTU. Okay, that's fair.
I think
we gotta say spell.
I think I understand PTA a bit, just because of when I first started watching you guys, I was constantly making classes in PTA, and then I realized the majority of the fan base uses PTU.
I may be being really dumb, but isn't PTA basically D&D?
Yeah, PTA is based on a D20, whereas PTU is based on a D6.
Now, in the defense of... Yeah, PTA 1.0 was strength, dex, charisma, whatever. And then when 2.0 came out, they finally switched to the stats, like attack, defense, whatever, to make it a little more like 1-to-1 as far as conversions go. But skills are still based on a D20 roll.
Yeah.
So PTA it's a modifier, whereas PTU is how many D6s you get to roll.
Yeah.
Yeah, dice pool versus modifier.
I forgot about. I was actually reading up on Sturdy. It also, I think that was Mage Man in the chat. Where is it? Oh yeah, Pokemon with Sturdy do not gain injuries from massive damage.
What?
So if they take over 50% of the health, they don't take that extra injury.
Yeah.
That's not a big deal.
They die less.
Yeah. I'm very generous with my injuries. I pass them out fast, so.
I kind of do that in my game too, just to get a sense of. Yeah, get a sense of.
And you get an injury, and you get an injury.
I mean, it's actually very hard for someone to be like in danger of dying in PTU.
Yeah, you gotta be stupid to actually die from injuries.
Well, because
you say that my character in Roberto's campaign has hit 2 HP off a negative 200% mark and 9 injuries in the same combat.
Well, that just means you were.
Look, that's by human, because she has the self-preservation instincts of a fucking lemming.
Please don't swear on the channel.
Yep. This is not Alex. This is not Alex's channel. All right. Failure is not an option.
Before you do that, Stuart.
Yes.
One thing you might want to do is you might want to have the ranked skill be here in the lower tier of skills, because ranked skills generally you give them increasing requirements, or they take up all of the lower tier skills. So if you're going to make the optionals here, you might want to do it before you move on to ones that probably require multiple things at expert.
So, what should I...
Basically saying you can add to the prerequisites that they need to have expert and they need to have expert in 2 classes to get this feat. Basically, it says they have to wait longer to get these features.
Yeah.
Because you already have to be level 6 to take the class, so waiting to get expert in 2 means that next time you could take that feature would be 8, I believe.
Yeah.
Because that's the next point at which you can have 2 skills at expert.
I disconnected for a second. Last thing I heard was Lutz was saying, you say that, but then it's connected.
Alright, so failure is not an option. 2 expert, what is it, skills? Yeah.
He was explaining the fact that his character has the
2 skills at expert.
What happened to Rose last session?
Oh, okay. The 9 injuries.
9 injuries and 2 HP off a negative 200 mark. Negative 200% mark.
Wait, so are you making, or is one chance and lasting going to be optionals? They're not core to the class?
I'm not sure. Like, should these be?
Most PTU classes only have 1 or 2 features that actually have other features in the classes outside of the core as a prerequisite.
Mm-hmm. For example,
most do skill ranks.
You're kind of losing me here. So like, what's my problem right now?
You don't have a problem. You don't have a problem.
I was just, the way you have it organized is the ones that are easier to get are below the one that's harder to get.
Okay, so failure. Okay, so failure is not an option. Should be the hard one. This is what makes the Nuzlocke, right?
So that one should be later. That one should be lower on the page. The thing I was saying earlier is that you are planning to have a ranked skill that has the optional Nuzlocke things, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So that means that you should probably have that early on in the list so that you can give it increasing requirements for the future ranks. That way someone doesn't just go in here and take all the optional Nuzlocke stuff and ignore everything else.
So, okay, so should failure is not an option. Should I make that the easy one to get since that's the hard thing?
What is failure is not the optional thing?
The fainting rule.
Oh, the fainting rule? The fainting rule is already part of the general class feature. You already put that. That's in the notes.
Yeah.
Failure is not an option. It's a way to help you later on down the line. So I would say that makes sense where it is. I'm saying put your next feature above that for the ranked feature that has the optional stuff, if that makes sense.
We didn't include that yet. I think that needs to be part of like the class feature, like the main thing to take in the class is that
that's why I'm saying we need to do that now.
Yeah.
Okay, so
that needs to be like under the class name, the one that's labeled class.
Okay, so what I'll do is effect then.
Yeah. So this is an additional effect to the base stat thing.
Your nickname Pokemon have a loyalty of a base. What is max loyalty?
6.
So let's say 4.
And that's past the point where they take a hit for you.
Okay, so your nickname Pokemon have a base loyalty of 4. However, if under your ownership a Pokemon faints, there
0.
No, a Pokemon faints, because I want one of the things to be like maybe a static, like you and your Pokemon don't fade unless you hit like negative 10 hit points.
No, I was saying 0 for their loyalty score goes to 0.
Yeah, if under your ownership a Pokemon faints, their loyalty score is lowered to 0. So this is kind of like the death rule.
Yeah.
And will not gain the benefits of the Nuzlocke runner class until their loyalty is regained.
Maybe watching a Pokemon tabletop stream when I have zero knowledge of Pokemon
It was a poor choice. Sorry, dude.
Are you gonna add a feature later on you to restore a Pokemon back to 4 loyalty?
Yeah. Regains a loyalty rank of 4.
Yeah.
Rank of 4.
Because I believe 0 basically is like you have to roll at disadvantage to see if it's even going to do anything.
Yeah.
I was about to say, well, there is a command thing. You have to pass it. If they're at loyalty 0, you have to pass a command check of 20, which is like minimum adept command to get it. And even then, it's a slow chance. Once they're at loyalty 1, you need only a DC check of 8.
Well, this is basically saying if you have a Pokemon that's at 4 or 0, there's no other ones.
Okay. Well, this way you don't have to murder your Pokemon. Like you don't have to put the ball in a compressor and just like frickin' kill it.
You don't have to use the gun.
Yeah.
My thinking was that you donate it to the towns that need them.
Give it to little Johnny that has no friends and he needs a companion.
Tell you what, we can make that an optional one, like if your Pokemon faints and gets a loyalty of 0, you can donate it to like a local town and get some kind of benefit, like.
So one of the optional things, the ones that's like, take this negative, get this bonus, basically.
Well, how about we call this rule? Let's call the optional one the Mercy rules.
Yeah.
I like that.
Pass it on to someone else and like get a Great Ball, get a Super Potion.
Yeah. So like that was the thing I was saying is like one of the rules is no items while in battle. If you take that, you get 50% off at shops that are part of the league.
Okay.
That way, items are cheaper, but you can't use them in battle.
Okay.
So when you're
However, you
reading
could obviously use
the
them
Mercy
outside.
rules, since that's going to be a ranked skill, you probably want to put that above one chance. And the format for that, you can see it in Hexmaniac.
Okay.
Which will make you happy because you know that one.
I know that one! I'm so bad at this stupid game. Okay. Even though it's like my favorite game, I'm so bad at it.
Well, I think it's more along the version is like we all play PTU, you GM a PTA.
Yeah.
So there's that difference right there. It's two related but totally different systems.
It's two GM's a mess.
Because even like you said how basically like PTA is now based on the 6 main stats of a Pokemon. PTU is still based on your 5 different educations, your charm, guile, and all that crap. So it's like those would be like your proficiencies in D&D.
Okay, so like ranked 3, rank 1, prerequisites. Hold on, let me try that again.
So okay, so you can take up to 3 of them.
I think at least. Well, I mean, I'm looking at Hexmaniac, and they get a bunch. So.
Well, yeah, you can go up to 4. You can take some skills 4 times in
okay.
PTU.
I'll put 4.
Each one does something a little bit different.
I would say leave it at 3 because then we still have a capstone skill we can give the Nuzlocke for.
True.
For whatever the other thing is, because I feel like there's one Nuzlocke thing we're missing currently.
Okay.
Prerequisites, Nuzlocke runner.
I'm just marking it down. So what would be a good prerequisite for rank 2?
Maybe one
skills at expert.
I was just gonna say skill at expert. So at rank 1 of Mercy, it's if you have an expert, you can get rank 1. If you have 2 expert, you can get rank 2. If you have 3 expert, you can get rank 3.
1 skill at expert? Is that how that's worded?
2 skills at expert.
Okay.
Well, it's 1, 2, 3 basically are equivalent. Because that means the first time you can take the first one is at 6. When you actually know it would be at 8 because you can't grab the class till 6.
7.
Shigul?
Oh yeah, 7 because it's a feature.
Gotcha. Okay, cool.
No, because this is a class. So this class, you can't take this class until 7, which means you can't take Mercy rank 1 until 9.
Ooh.
Yep.
Which then Mercy 2 can't be taken till 11.
And rank 3.
I would like to point out that the prerequisite for Nuzlocke Runner is still 1 skill at export.
Yeah.
You're getting rid of the skill.
I ain't even
The
mad.
second you get one of your skills to another country, that's when you can take the class.
Fuck you.
Alright, so the effect of Mercy rules.
Just calling up X, be like, "Hey X, do you get my skill yet?" Oh, you did? Hey, he said I got this. He said he got that skill, so can I take Mercy rank 1?
No, I think it's the runner itself, isn't it?
Oh yeah, can I take this class now?
Probably want to put the runner name as well in the prerequisites, just so people don't say they can.
Alright.
Well, no, because it's
You do
under the
have to-
class. You can't take the features in the class till you
well, I think for all the classes in the book do have the class name in the prerequisite, except for Commander, which occasionally accidentally uses the old name of Mastermind because the PTU devs don't proofread.
What
It's
were
just
these?
part of the formatting.
Yeah, I'm just formatting this now, so I'm not sure how I'm formatting this. I'm probably not formatting this correctly.
How
That's what other people are here for. We're here to make it look.
How often do people in this Discord diss the PTU devs?
Quite often, depending on the person.
I mean, as I say, like honestly, I think the people who do the majority of the PTU revising for the Discord server, didn't they used to work with, but then ended up hating the devs, the current devs?
I think Spell is the one working on PTU now, only person.
Yes. Yeah.
And
I think
like,
Redacted
Neo
helps out as
does
well.
too.
Yeah, helps.
I know Redacted helps with the Dunsparce / Pyukumuku.
Neo does the most on that. Redacted will tell you as well.
So if you want to also, Stuart, sometimes when they have these ring skills, they have the tables at the end of the class, just so there's not a table in the middle of all the text.
Okay, so
He's following Hexmaniac.
Oh,
Which
okay.
I told.
yeah, he told me Hexmaniac. I don't know how this. All right, so I'm looking at athlete. I'm looking at athlete now, but this is kind of more of an Ace Trainer thing. So I'm scrolling up to Ace Trainer, trying to find an example there.
Yeah.
Oh, that could be prereq as well.
So
You have to have an expert skill and be Ace Trainer.
Really?
Because you can make classes that have to have other classes taken to grab them.
I wouldn't limit a Nuzlocke like this. I don't know exactly why Stuart's doing it. I missed that part, but I don't think you should require a specific class to be a Nuzlocke runner.
I would.
Yeah,
I guess.
I think that's the whole point.
The formatting for the effect on Mercy rules would probably be choose one from the table.
Okay.
It depends on what Mercy rules we use, because depending on the ones we could go capture specialist and you choose 2 at a time.
Well, the thing. What do you mean choose 2 at a time?
Well, it depends on how many we're having. Are we having,
There's gonna be
5
one for all the
different
optional
ones?
all the optional Nuzlocke skills that you can do but don't have to do are gonna be in the Mercy rules.
Here's the problem. Unless we streamline the most popular ones, there are dozens.
Oh,
it's gonna be
We went through them. That was earlier in the story.
jeez.
Okay, then I missed that part. I apologize.
Okay, they're called capture techniques. Okay, so we'll call them Mercy. Oh, so we'll just call
Mercy
them Mercy
clauses.
Mercy clauses. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Or I was gonna say, or your card benefits, because you have that card that registers you as taking this class.
Mercy card benefits. Okay, and then under the notes, I will say, whenever you take a new feature from this, a new rank from this
Yes.
feature, you add a special marker to your trainer card? Trainer card.
Yeah.
Okay. Choose
How do
one.
the poke edges work?
So
Poke edges are basically the poke edges as you can take a tutor point or a multiple certain set of tutor points. So you take a tutor point and you can give them an edge. And certain edges are dependent on levels, they have to have certain statuses, they have to have certain capabilities. They're basically just so some Pokemon have tracker. They're basically tracking Pokemon.
Why can't I
Poke
find this
Edge allows you to
information?
improve tracking, so that way, a normal tracking, I think you roll a couple d6, and you have a DC of this. If you have improved tracker, it makes the DC lower. So like there are Poke Edges like that to improve some capabilities, or there are other ones to give you benefits. Like there's the Underdogs lessons, which is if you have a Pokemon that's not at its full form, you can start teaching it the moves from its full form. It just can't evolve anymore.
Oh, season 2 starts Monday, by the way. Just letting you know. Someone in chat asked.
Well, I actually get to watch it live. I, for whatever reason, got put onto overnights for next week, so...
Oh no.
Well, it's for 1 week, and I feel bad for my coworkers because it's one of those things where we're shorthanded, and it's like, okay, I agree to do this, because when you have the store manager, the person below her, and the person below them come to me and like, hey, we need you to do this job overnight for a week, it's kind of hard to say no. But it's just, they say they'll cover the shift, but I kind of highly doubt it, so I feel bad for my coworkers.
Okay.
So, Mercy Card benefits.
So what should we do for our
Let's
Mercy
start with
Card?
the Pokemon Center one.
The what?
The one that restricts the number of Pokemon Center uses you have.
Rank 1. It should be called prerequisites. Okay, sorry. Prerequisite. Rank 1.
I say actually you don't have to give them prerequisites for rank 1.
Oh, okay.
Because it's basically saying at each rank you can take any of these. If you give them prerequisites, it means this one can only be taken at rank 1.
Gotcha, okay.
Or above. This one can only be taken at 3. So I mean you could essentially, but you don't always have to.
So what should we call this one? Pokemon Center check-ins? Okay, so what is this Mercy rule for the Pokemon check-ins?
So it's going to restrict the number of times that you can use a Pokemon Center.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what the number we want it to be is, and I don't know what the benefit we want from it is, though.
I would say, I mean, I don't know, because that makes it fall under the...
The benefit is you don't kill people. Don't kill Pokemon. Sorry.
The benefit might be, like, if they are... Kind of like what you were saying, if they weren't below -10, they can still be in your party.
True, as long as they don't take too much damage after fainting, they come back, and then you can only go to a certain center so many times.
Okay.
So I would say maybe 3 times tops.
A Pokemon Center once. How about once per month?
That wouldn't be bad, since, you know, realistically.
Because, I mean, at that point, yeah, you could do training, but at that point you're spending a month traveling from one town, and you heal, and then you have to spend another month going to another town that you've already healed at, heal, and then you're basically...
Yeah.
Once you've hit every town once, you have to go, like, a month without healing at a Poké Center.
But the thing is, on a realistic region map, it would take you more than a month to hit every single town, unless you're flying. So,
yeah,
it's a pretty good limitation.
Your Pokemon does not. Your Pokemon will.
Is not reduced to loyalty 0, right?
Your Pokemon does not get reduced to loyalty 0 until they reach -10% of their maximum hit points.
Well, that's pretty good.
Unless they drop below negative. Let's say 15%, just to try it out.
Yeah.
There.
A lot of it is number tweaking, and that's definitely one of the knobs you can spin.
And the thing is, you could technically just dump a lot of points into your HP if you want to survive like that.
Yeah, but that means you'd have to take Enduring Soul, which allows you to break the base stat relation.
It depends on which class, but also which Pokemon. Obviously, Chansey, its HP is the highest possible, so...
Yeah, but who says you're going to get a Chansey?
Exactly, I'm just saying there are certain Pokemon that have HPs out the wazoo.
Hit points may only gain...
Don't forget,
you know what?
can help.
Here's a thought. Your Pokemon may only gain the benefits of... hold on. Gain free... The benefits of a Pokemon Center for free once per month. What is normal healing cost? Because I know there are rules for healing costs in PTU.
They recommend free, I think.
I was about to say, I saw something for trainers recently that said, like...
Trainers, I believe you have to pay to heal yourself, but Pokemon, I don't think they I don't think I've ever been charged in a game to heal my Pokemon.
Otherwise, healing a Pokemon more than once per month costs the same as treating a human trainer.
Okay, I will pull that up. I just saw that earlier today. Item Dex.
It'll be fun if you get a Shedinja.
Oh god.
Oh no, then you're teaching Shedinja sturdy when it's 1 hit point.
Yeah.
You know what?
Yeah, but
that actually is good.
You can do that because if you don't take the optional thing where if you don't take the optional that keeps you from evolving, if your first pug on a route is Nincada,
Yeah.
you catch a Nincada, as soon as it levels up, you get both of those Pokemon. Because I don't believe there's Nuzlocke rules that stop you from getting that free Pokemon from a Nincada.
There's not.
So as long as you don't take the evolution route, you can get a Nincada and put Sturdy on it, and you win.
Pretty much.
Have fun. Here's your
Don't
Nuzlocke.
let redacted. Don't let redacted here.
Alright, so Pokemon Center check-in. So, yeah.
I'm
I think-
literally trying to find that right now, so I'll get back to you when I find it.
I just said
can-
otherwise healing a Pokemon more than once per month costs the same as treating a human trainer. So that way
that price is what I'm actually looking up right now.
that way you don't have a Pokemon Center saying your Pokemon's dying. Well, sorry, son, you signed up for a Nuzlocke run. Tough cookies.
I actually would love that.
What's that? They're
Okay.
your best friend? Not anymore.
Oh, the fleck!
So, but that also keeps it along. Wait, that's an optional rule.
Okay, so
Right.
I found this town services, broken arm or leg. These casts will hold you in place. That's 1,500. A complete recovery. Sometimes the trainers goes far into the negative if they're not dead. A trainer proper faculties can get them back on feet after a few days, and that's $10,000.
Oh wow, that's a lot. Someone tell
You know,
Someone tell him to make the negative 15 of max HP be below their fainting threshold. Like they don't faint. I mean,
No.
I think they should still faint at.
Yeah, they still
They still faint at 0, so it's
Yeah.
negative max HP is still negative 15 or negative their maximum.
Like that was my original plan, but since we're doing this based on loyalty, I think that works a little better.
Oh,
Yeah.
Sturdy does not work with Pokemon that have 1 HP, so Sturdy doesn't work on a Shedinja.
Okay,
So you can't get Sturdy on a Shedinja. That's actually a good rule.
Oh,
but you can get a Focus Sash.
you can get a focus edge, yeah.
If we're charging per Pokemon, I would say the average price would be about 1,000 past the first month.
Okay.
Just
Also, I just want to say really quick to the people who are in chat, yeah, we're missing a lot of stuff, but I don't know a lot of, personally, of us who have done Nuzlockes, and also we're not class writers, so...
Yeah, this is just me. This is having fun for now. Like,
Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna have to learn some of that kind of stuff, but I'm just gonna basically do the Borderlands. Fuck. I mean, yeah, I'm not gonna do a PT.
And also, guys, this is a PTU class in a game that's supposed to be a kids game. So obviously, we can't include all the rules because I would not say Nuzlocke is kid friendly.
okay, so I'm gonna call one feature a fair fight. Now that's more of an optional rule, isn't it? So okay, so
Is that the item one?
no, a fair fight is you must have equal or less Pokemon than your opponent.
I would put that in the optionals.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair fight. Static. Effect. If you have equal or less Pokemon than your opponent, What do we? What I wrote on here is your highest stat is boosted by 1 combat stage. Is that too much or is that too little?
I'll say that might be a little low.
I think that's fair enough.
Plus 6 combat stages.
No, you're
I
not
was
going
gonna-
to really wrong.
I was originally gonna say give them initiative, but I forget that initiative doesn't do much other than just order of attack.
If you have
What is the highest DB?
okay, you can here's a concept.
Mm-hmm.
You can give your Pokemon a free order that does not go away.
What?
Could you?
He's talking like agility training or inspired training.
Oh, you
stuff
mean
like
training, not order.
That gives them trainings are orders, and there's other orders that are in the game. That way, it gives them class customization outside of just doing this. That lets them kind of makes them play with it.
You can bind an order as if it were a stratagem.
that. Yeah, but make it a basic one because if you want to get technical, the
Strike
dual wielding is an order. So
And
Right,
strike
but-
again is today.
But you're
But
applying it to a Pokemon.
Yeah, but that's also the advantage of allowing your Pokemon. Okay, you're going to go 4 against 4, and this is giving you advantage, saying, okay, well, typically you can only bind 1 stratagem, which is typical stratagems are just things to like give you a slight advantage.
Hey,
so.
hold on real quick. Hello, HPI2K fans. We just got 13 viewers from him. Welcome, everybody. If you do not know, my name is Stuart, and I am the GM for a channel called The Loading Crew. Ben used to be on our show. He was on our Pathfinder show for a while, and now I am working on a Pokemon tabletop class. So we're glad to have you. Thank you, guys.
Oh,
Welcome.
by the way, Stuart,
Welcome.
Hello.
Yes.
But I kind of like that because if it allows you to bind, yeah, I guess you could say you bind a simple order as if it were a stratagem. So basically, it allows you to bind like either agility training or one of the basic trainings, or one of the other like lower level order features.
So what
Or
is? I'm not certain I know what's happening.
So order is a tag that's applied to some things. Every class in PTU starts with 1 order as a training feature that they get at the beginning of the game, and there's other orders that you can pick up. Stratagems take orders and they apply them permanently to a Pokemon, and so you would get to apply an order permanently to your Pokemon for that fight.
As well as a stratagem. So you would have your normal stratagem, and then you would have your order stratagem.
are you using Opera, Stuart?
Am I using Opera?
Yeah.
As
What
in-
browser?
I'm using Chrome, dude.
Okay.
So like, as I say,
I saw the O and it looked like the Opera O.
for an example of like the difference between stratagem and order, so then type ace, you get a stratagem for your class. So like type ace water is you bind the stratagem, and your Pokemon that you bind it to acts as if it were in the rainy weather all the time. So if it has Swift Swim, it's always +4 speed.
Can you?
If it has Rain Dish,
Can you write this one out for me then? Because I have no idea what's happening.
I can send it to you.
Okay.
Okay, question from the chat, and I don't know this answer.
Mhm.
Guy says shiny claws. That's a bit different because the DM himself has to put the shiny in, so...
and also the shiny clause is the DM decides what its benefit for being shiny is.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, again, shinies is a different term. It's not just a color variation. It's a different
size.
a different typing, a move, you know.
In PTU, it can be. I know my first shiny wasn't like that.
Okay, so how about this effect? Shiny Claws, prerequisite rank 2. Or we could even make this higher because this is kind of the BS one, where like once per route or once per location or something like that determined by the GM, you may ignore the negative benefits. Not only do you force a shiny Pokemon to appear, you may then ignore the negatives of last chance or whatever. Rank 2
Okay.
or one and chance. So
Honestly, if my opinion would be and this would be something that would be more of a talk between the DM and the player, but maybe make it more, instead of once per location, make it more, you have, like, you can do this 3 times during the campaign, and you can cause a Pokemon you see be shiny. So, example, oh, there's an Absol right there. It's my first Pokemon. Or even the second one. I want that one to be shiny. And so it gets something special about it, and then you can also catch it per the shiny clause.
I'm pretty sure that's already in another class, though.
Yeah, but you could have it for Nuzlocke. So we'll make it a rank, let's say rank 3, and you need rank 3 and 1 chance effect 3 times ever.
The one
hold on.
Game.
Yeah,
and the one you're probably thinking of is this one special, which has a very similar thing when eggs are hatching.
Oh yeah, it's a hatching one. I forgot it's a hatching one.
This one is special? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, this one is special. It's in the Pokemon Researcher part.
Yeah, it's if you have a really high Pokemon education, and you have to have an egg to do it. So I mean, basically, when it hatches, you get 3 uses, and you just tell the GM, I want this one to be special, and the GM picks how it's special.
Exactly, but the only difference is I'm saying 3 times ever for the Nuzlocke. The other one's based on your rank of Pokemon education. So if you have like
no. I understand.
You have 6 chances.
I forgot the other one was based on hatching an egg.
By the way, I would say for the shiny claws, keep it up to the GM's discretion. Otherwise, they might become, like, depending on the person, of course, they might get a bit. Oh, you want a special Pokemon? Well, here it's special because it's lame and always has -6 combat stages.
I was about to say, the thing is, if the DM's doing that, that DM's not really a good DM in my opinion.
Yeah, if a DM does that to a player in a game I was in, I would stand up and quit the game regardless, because that's not a DM you want to play with.
Exactly.
True.
If he's gonna be like, okay, my class has this feature, and he'd be like, oh, well, it's special because it sucks. It's just like, okay, then why am I gonna be in a game with you as a GM if you're punishing someone for using their class?
Now, if it's something like, yes, it has -3 combat stages to speed at all time, but the defenses both have 2 combat stages up at all times. That would make more sense.
Yeah, but that's more
it's somewhat beneficial. But
yeah, that's a trade-off versus
an overall gain, I think.
Yeah.
I believe Stuart said this one is going to be put up for non-patrons.
Yeah.
The stream will be, yes. The actual document that I'm making, that will be for patrons only.
Okay.
Because it's part of the lore packet for next month.
This feature may be activated 3 times after it is taken.
So how does Professor Nuzlocke fit into all this?
He will be the final boss. we will make the final feature. Professor Nuzlocke was a monster, and you may ignore all negative benefits of the class or something.
To do that, you have to have 2 skills at Virtuoso, which makes it minimum level 20.
Yeah.
Actually, minimum level 22 because you got to take it twice.
Yeah.
Or you can just require everything from this class because that'll get you to level 22 already.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It's just one of those things where definitely make it a late game thing that maybe not all people are actually going to get to.
Oh my god, I just thought of something freaking funny, but I don't know if it would work. Because now you have it named the Mercy Clause.
Oh.
And you have that Mercer.
The Mercer
Clause. The Mercer Clause.
Well, no, that's the next one that I was going to list. Is we want to have the one where you can basically bring a Pokemon back, and so.
Oh yeah. So that would be rank 2. So let's call this Mercy Clause prerequisite
One thing I should maybe say for shiny claws, though, specify that no one else can catch the shiny Pokemon.
It's you deem it shiny after it's caught.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, that's actually a little
Or
better.
maybe declare it before in case it's the second Pokemon you
Oh,
find. Like,
you know what? I should actually put here, the wild Pokemon is born with special qualities determined by the GM. You may capture this Pokemon as well as
your normal encounter.
Yeah, this one ignores the feat that allows you to only do one.
this Pokemon ignores the capture rolls attempting to capture this Pokemon do not receive the plus 200 modifier.
Well, you could just say, do not receive any positive modifier.
Oh, okay. Capture rolls attempting to capture this Pokemon do not receive any positive modifiers. Okay. There we go.
But like, what Professor Nuzlocke? What happened to the tree thing?
But where's the negative for that feature though?
They're called the mercy clauses because they don't all necessarily have negatives, but you're spending a class feature in order to get these minor positives.
Oh, okay. That's fine.
They're like the carrot to the stick that is the Nuzlocke class.
Basically, if you can deal with all the other features, these are the good things of it.
Static. How about what is the mercy clause? You may
get Mercy flies down from the sky with their magical stick and gives you a Gateau that raises your Pokemon's loyalty back up to 4.
I've yet to play the new Mercy because I
Oh, do you want to make these? Do you want to make these as stacked mercy clauses? Do you want to make the mercy clauses stacked?
Is that
So-
what we're doing?
Okay, I did. Well, I know you're doing them as a rank 2. The prerequisite is rank 2, but also the other prereq is you have the previous. So you get Pokemon Center check-ins rank 1. You can also get Pokemon Center rank in check 2. That's an even bigger benefit. But you have to take the previous. You have to take the previous rank of it. So like the shiny clause is gonna have like another thing for rank 2.
Well, no, the shiny
Alright.
clause is already ranked 3, so
Oh, it is rank 3. Okay.
Yeah.
just use rock types and people might call you a hiker.
I kind of like the idea of where it's currently going, where the rank 2 is stuff that doesn't really have as much of a drawback as the rank 1. But you have to choose from all of this stuff that doesn't have a drawback.
Trigger.
Okay, so rank 1's about even trade, rank 2's about little benefits, and the rank 3 will be pure benefits.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
That
effect.
May-
Pokemon Center check-ins rank 2, I guess. Rank 2.
So Mage Man says Mercy Clause should not be static, or thanks, sorry,
What?
in the chat.
Oh,
might
it
not have rolled
shouldn't
up
be
yet.
static. Okay, my bad. My bad. Okay. Should I mark it as special?
Well,
No,
that's the mercy clause.
I think he means like I don't know what he means by it, but he just says
The
Mercy Clause should not be static.
He was talking about the mercy clause when we were saying it would give you like a Gateau that would raise your loyalty back up. That would not be static.
Yeah, that's like a one thing. So this is not this Pokemon Center check-ins rank 2 would not be a static. It would be a special, like one-time use.
Okay.
Well, no, unless this is.
Anyway, I'd
Special,
better go
alright, so-
eat.
Get
Special.
some food, man.
Yeah, especially since I have oh frick. Well, I mean, I actually have a decent boss for once instead of one that's gonna kill everybody in sight. So,
Special
yay for balance.
reaction
And enjoy it while it lasts, man.
effect.
I'm learning, guys. I'm learning how to balance things.
A Pokemon falls below 15%.
Sad
HP.
part is, it legitimately takes me 3 tries.
Should I
to
make it a
find
trigger or a target?
It
I would
should
say
be
a target.
Okay, yeah, because I guess if it's below 15, that means it had a loyalty 0 anyway. So yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So target a Pokemon with a loyalty of 0. Upon healing a Pokemon at a Pokemon Center.
True, because you want to make sure that it's theirs, because you could technically take a snag ball and catch someone else's, which is at a loyalty 0, then use this to make it yours at a loyalty 4. So you want to make sure that it's your Pokemon that you're doing this to.
So just be your Pokemon with loyalty 0.
A Pokemon, okay. Your Pokemon with loyalty 0. Their loyalty becomes 4. 4, there we go.
Maria Baldwin in the chat. Professor Nuzlocke forced them to change the system. Before anyone could be a professor, now you have to take a tree name. It's totally better.
Okay. Pokemon Center check-ins rank 2. That's I think that works, don't you think?
Yeah.
This feature may only be used 3 times. You think?
And that way, if you have a favorite, you don't necessarily have to lose it.
Yeah.
Oh, I just caught the shiny and it got KO'd by, this, random exploding coughing.
Yeah.
So is how it works, isn't it?
That works. I would move that 1 block down.
Oh, yeah?
Just because you might want to have another rank 1 one.
Mm-hmm. Alright, what are all the mercy rules? I think we had a bunch written down.
Yeah.
You may catch shinies, you may have 1 revive.
Oh, there's the item one that we didn't do.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna bring
right.
up as a rank 1 one where
Don't use an item. Don't use items, but you get 50% off of buying items from League stores.
Right. Okay. So what should we call this?
Well, are we doing the you can't use healing items or you can't use held items?
You can't use the trainer can't use an item. If it's a berry or something held by the Pokemon, I think you can do that in a Nuzlocke.
Yeah.
As long as because that also devolves it to it's an item that the Pokemon has to know how to use. You can't give a Pokemon a potion and the Pokemon doesn't know what to do with the potion in battle, so it can't naturally use it.
I would name it it's not stealing, it's free. With free in quotes.
Oh.
Oh, I was gonna say 5-finger discount.
No.
How about because you're not stealing. You're like it's an official thing. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying it's not stealing. It's free.
No, that still doesn't make sense.
Yeah, because you're just buying it at 50% off. So like.
Yeah.
Free is in quotes.
Something about a
Easy come,
challenge
easy,
discount.
easy come, easy go.
Or no, I'm not using this. My Pokemon are.
It's not for me.
It's not for me.
Yeah, that actually works great.
Actually, that is halfway decent.
Okay, I like that. It's not for me.
Yeah.
You may not.
I guess the only thing that that does cause is you don't have to take the medical training edge that a lot of people pretty much say most trainers should have.
Oh yeah, medical training, which allows you to heal a Pokemon without taking away its turn in the
Or
turn
just
order.
items in general. It doesn't even have to be healing. If you
Call
used
it
an
fire
X
sale.
speed on it.
It's for a friend. Oh, I like that one. It's for a
Yeah,
friend.
it's for a friend. That's
a
really
good
good,
one.
Maria. Or Maria, however you pronounce it. I apologize. I'm a
It's actually, I believe that's Maria B from the Discord.
okay.
It's for a friend. Okay, that's a good one. You may not use healing items during battle. However, you gain you know what? You gain a passive 50% discount for.
Oh my god. This would be perfectly stacked with the one above it, because if you get that 50% discount and you apply it to the healing, so you get the once per month healing, And then you get this.
Yeah.
The healing's at 50% because the Pokemon centers are league-sanctioned buildings.
Okay, to all Pokemon League.
The only difference would be if you say sanctioned stores.
Pokemon sanctioned
Because
stores.
You can make it's for a friend rank 2 and make it work for Pokemon centers as well.
Or any Pokemon League sanctioned places, because
Yeah.
you could be at a gym too, and who knows, the gym could sell stuff.
Using a healing item. Are they called healing items or restorative item?
Using an item during battle. I don't think you can use any items.
During
I was about to say,
battle.
no items at all.
Because
forfeit the benefits of this feature for 3 months.
That's a good slap on the wrist and make people think about it. Because if it's a month, people can get around that. But 3 months, that's problematic.
yeah, like the only time you would break this is if it was like a gym battle or like a very hard gym battle.
Or, life or death. This is still, still a kid's game, or designed to be.
Yeah.
Well, I go back to my campaign. Sure, I'd say, okay, you can take these combat stuff, but if you use them, you'll get in trouble unless it's life or death.
Mm-hmm.
Then they'll overlook it. But they're not going to say, oh no, don't punch this, Pokemon that's ripping open your arm just because you can't. No, if you're about to die, punch that Pokemon.
Okay, change it to use an item on a Pokemon.
Okay.
On your Pokemon.
Using items, okay.
On your Pokemon, because if you say items period, it does apply to Pokeballs that you throw.
Ooh,
okay.
Balls are items.
on your Pokemon.
Good catch on that, Maria.
Yes.
Do you want to say your or your ally?
I was about to specify that too, because then if you want to get technical, your teammate could heal your Pokemon as well. So
That one might be fine, but you're not allowed to heal your teammate's Pokemon.
that would be a DM discretion thing at that point.
How about just your Pokemon?
Yeah, I'll leave that as a DM discretion, because a lot of this is it's DM accepting this, and so the DM gets to say no, your Pokemon can't be healed by anyone, or no, it's just you can't heal it.
Yeah,
Okay.
and here's the thing: each DM has a spin on their own rules. I changed Virtuoso so it's not. It has a little bit more utility than what the core has.
I was gonna say, some GMs allow you to take an egg move for your starters. Some GMs throw out the lowest base stat has to stay the lowest.
Yeah.
One thing, Stuart. How many features do you have?
I think he has 6.
At the
3
moment?
ranked and 3 normal.
Yeah.
Are we reaching
then
the end of this?
Well, I mean, a typical PTU class has 7 or 6
Okay.
features. Because you want to.
Classes have the main class and then 6 features underneath it.
Yeah, because you don't want to have them too much, because you do have to remember, out of all the features that they can take, they're dividing between 4 classes.
So,
Okay. So should I
I
make
was
one?
I was going to recommend moving Last Stand into either rank 2 or rank 3.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I'll do that.
That way you have those 3 extra at the bottom as higher tier, really good things that potentially are.
Yeah, I guess Last Stand would be a 2.
A little 2?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it would be 2, because it's a low-level benefit. It's you teaching a Pokemon sturdy.
Yeah.
That's not that great, but there's no trade-off.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the thing, you only get 3 ranks. You want to make each of these ranks visually appealing.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay, the only thing I'm noticing real quick, it says Pokemon Centers check in rank 2, prerequisites rank 2 Pokemon Center. So you
Sorry.
Maybe specify you have to take the first one as well.
Rank.
He did.
Rank 1. Or did I just,
Yeah, just say one of the prerequisites you have to take the first one as well. Just
Yeah, you just it needs to say Pokemon Center check-ins, rank 1.
Got it. Well, I don't have it rank 1. It just says Pokemon Center check-in, so if you have that one, then you can get rank 2.
Okay.
Okay. So, one chance. How about a fair fight? Should that one You remember that one? That one's the optional rule that if you match the
amount of
Pokemon.
That one's good where it is. It's in the thing at rank 1.
Yeah.
Is it?
I don't think you need a tier 2 of that.
Oh, okay, yeah. No, I didn't even see that. Yeah, it's right there, and I'm just a goof. Sorry. Okay.
We got
So
the
we have
shiny
two-
claw.
So I think we need another rank. We need one more rank 3 at least.
Yeah.
You
And
could
then I think it's good.
You could do something on the Nuzlocke variant, something similar to what's the term, wedlock, but more battle bond sort of thing, where if two Pokemon predetermined are fighting next to each other, they get a +1 combat stage and two stats.
Okay, or
Battle buddies.
Battle buddies, that would be a good one.
battle buddies, or one thing which is specific to the Safari Zone in Nuzlocke, you could choose an area type that you take no positives and always a -10 to capturing in. So basically, you get to ignore the capture rule.
Well, no, this one was basically saying like battle buddies would be like you have your Pokemon, and you can either control two. If say for somehow you control two Pokemon at once, or you're on a team, it's like okay, I throw out my Pikachu, and my teammate throws out his Squirtle, but my Pikachu is battle buddies with the Squirtle. So whenever Pikachu is out with Squirtle, Pikachu gets a hard bonus.
Yeah.
Well, yes, I know what you're saying. I'm wondering how that fits in with a Nuzlocke. What optional Nuzlocke rule does that fulfill?
It's something called a wedlock. It's a different type of Nuzlocke, and essentially what it is they are paired together. If they,
It's kind of like the duo battle.
Mhm.
It's like a duo battle lock. So if you have a duo battle, these two Pokemon are the two Pokemon that go. You can't have like. So for your party of 6, you have paired Pokemon basically. Like one's with 3, 2's with 4, and 6 is with 5.
Yeah.
And they can only ever be out in those pairings.
Yeah, and so if it's a single battle and it's like this, I'm not saying it needs to be in here, but a wedlock is you have the Pikachu out. Well, you need to switch Pokemon because it's a ground type. Well, you can only switch to its partner. So, yeah, I think Battle Buddies would be good. Now, here's the thing. Only your Pokemon gets the benefit. So if you're paired with a buddy's Pokemon, only your Pokemon gets the benefit. But if you actually took the time and got dual wielding, both of your Pokemon would get the benefit.
Yeah.
Equal to... You receive an item of value equal to the Pokemon's level times 100.
Up to DM discretion.
Up to GM discretion.
Yeah, because I mean, at that point, it's kind of like if you're giving away a lot 20 Pokemon to like little Johnny's parents are gonna be like, "Thank you very much for this," and then they give you a gift equivalent of what the Pokemon was.
Yeah. And so it might be one of those things. If it's like level 20 Rattata, sure, you'll get a Pokeball. But if it's, for example, a level 20, Solrock, the DM might say, okay, yeah, you'll get a Great Ball for this.
Yeah. So GM discretion, and also, yeah, I think also it's up to GM discretion because also where you donate it.
Mm-hmm.
Say if you donate it to little Jimmy on the street versus you donate it to the local gym leader.
Mm-hmm.
Or you give it
donate,
to the Poke Center and say, please find this thing a good home.
Or you donate a fossil to a research center sort of thing.
Oh, God, that's terrible. Here, take my ancient Pokemon and do experiments to it.
So you said the wedlock. Another option for the last rank 3 is the no evolution one, but the Pokemon gets +1 in all of its stats.
That's at Poke Edge.
Yeah,
right, but you can get both of them.
Ooh.
Wow,
I don't know. I don't think that's that great of a benefit.
I kind of, it was my idea, so I'm biased, but I do like the idea of Battle Buddy.
Yeah.
I'll say if you're gonna do the bonus, say at tier 3 you start with a bonus 1 on every combat stage. That would be so. That's equivalent to what a shiny, like deeming 3 shinies is.
That is true. If we're going with a, or
This
maybe
is
not
something
every
that's supposed to help you offset the fact that, like, if a Pokemon faints, it's gone.
Yeah, so, one in each combat stage isn't terrible.
I'd say make this rank 3 fair fight. This is a rank. Take this. It's a rank 3 of the Mercy Clause, but you have to have fair fight. So fair fight 1 to get it, and if you have both of those, that a fair fight at rank 3 allows you to have +1 in every combat stage.
Yeah.
Or a +1 combat stage to every stat.
So is this
as long as you have the same number of Pokemon out as they do?
Okay, so we'll call
Same
this
or less.
a really fair fight.
Yeah.
Or a not so fair fight.
Or even playing field.
Ooh, I like that one.
Even the playing field, yeah.
Even the playing field. That's cool. A fair fight. So a Pokemon you own. So long as you meet the requirements of a fair fight, your Pokemon gains one combat stage in every stat.
Yeah.
Say every base stat, because do not do that to evasion and accuracy.
True, because that kills the accuracy and evasion stuff.
Yeah, so just do attacks, defense, special attack, special defense, and speed.
So is this class underpowered, or like this seems kind of underpowered?
This is not underpowered.
Honestly, it's pretty good, and in a way, it's a challenge. This is a Nuzlocke. This is a challenge. So if it is somewhat underpowered, that is part of the challenge.
But it's also part of the fun is also you have 3 other classes that you can use to support yourself here. So you can have 3 other classes that the way you pick their features make it a cheese for you. Like, example, if you take Juggler is the easiest way to avoid fainting Pokemon.
And here's another thing. Someone said earlier, and I forget who it is, I apologize, whoever was in the chat, but they said there's a skill in Taskmaster that makes it so they don't fall faint until -50 HP. So...
Plus, also, there's Enduring Soul class. When you take Enduring Soul, you can break the base stat relations on HP. So HP doesn't have to follow this relations. You can tank them in HP.
Now, here's a question. The one chance... Should one chance be like... How about this then? One chance should actually be like the base class thing. And I think... I think the nickname thing should be a different class skill.
Okay,
or what you can do is make all of the others require one chance, so you need both of them.
Yeah, so to get the Mercy rules, you need one chance and the main. And so you need Nuzlocke and one chance to get the Mercy rules.
Yeah.
So
basically saying once you have the solid features to what a Nuzlocke is you can start grabbing the other stuff.
Yeah.
One chance. All right, that works.
Because that makes sure you have all the rules that define what a Nuzlocke is before you get all the benefits of this class.
And I'm not sure what exactly you're planning for Professor Nuzlocke with Monster, but maybe something akin to, when you take this, you can ignore one of the penalties but still gain the benefits of the Nuzlocke rule.
Let's go through the entire thing, because we still have one other non-capstone to choose.
Okay.
Because currently we only have 5 features.
Okay.
We have 3 in the ranked, we have the base, and we have Professor Nuzlocke.
Well, if we wanted to make it simple, we have, 8 things in the rank thing? You could make it rank 4 instead of rank 3. So once you're rank 4, you can just take any of the other ranks.
You could do that.
I like having another base skill though. I don't like giving classes all the rank ones.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So
especially when this class is not supposed to be like a thing just based off of like ranking something up many times. It's supposed to be hard.
question is, what haven't we fulfilled? We have the catch rule. We have the naming rule. What were the other ones that we needed?
We got the releasing rule with the loyalty. That's basically how that works.
Yep.
Trade and gifted.
Trading and gifted.
Oh,
So we need one. We need one that restricts your ability to trade and to gift.
Yeah, but obviously one that you can't take any team members' Pokemon, and you can only receive one gift per town or per person. So your team can literally say, okay, here, have this Pokemon, but they can only ever do that once.
Like, for example, like when one of your gym battles, I think Luna or someone gave one of her Pokemon to someone else to command.
Okay.
I don't know. I think the Pokemon was given to Luna because she had the right for charisma to be able to command someone else's Pokemon.
It was Hikinomori.
Yeah, Nomura, yeah.
Nomura the Assassin, that was it.
Okay, so...
And that was quite literally... Thing is, Stuart runs on a team bank thing, and a lot of people do as well, because it's a kind of a fun little thing. It's like, oh, you aren't using that Pokemon anymore? Well, that would flesh out my team. You literally just say, you can't do that as a Nuzlocke. You can get a Pokemon from your team, but it's permanent.
Oh god, what is that superstition about, like... Oh, okay, I got a funny one for it, like, for the classes, like, the name is, like, am I a bad person, and it's no Pokemon that does not belong to you will ever follow your orders.
Oof.
So, it's like, any Pokemon that is not caught by you will not follow your orders.
Okay.
And what's the carrot to the stick?
Well, that's what I'm thinking, though. But it's like kind of, that whole superstition of, like, when dogs and animals don't like this person, that means there's something wrong with the person. So it's kind of that thing. It's like this person goes around and he's like trying to help other Pokemon. Other Pokemon are just like, nah, I'm not having anything to do with you.
But yeah, the biggest thing, like you said, what's the benefit for the Pokemon? No other Pokemon listening to you. Honestly, you already get automatic 4 loyalty with the Pokemon you catch.
Yeah, that would be the thing. This is basically any Pokemon you catch starts at a loyalty of 4.
And honestly, yeah, that doesn't...
How about any Pokemon that is traded or gifted to you starts at a loyalty of 0?
Yep. Okay, that sounds good.
My path is my own, yeah, that's nice.
I was about to say, yeah, definitely gonna want command if you're doing a...
Yeah.
Loyalty of 0? Or you want Intimidate and the edge that lets you use Intimidate as command.
Yeah, like Beastmaster, basically, which allows you to make a loyalty 0 Pokemon do something.
Call the skill capitalism.
I was about to say, this is definitely probably a late. Maybe have it enables you to trade any Pokemon or trade Pokemon, but that way again.
So this is part of the core that you can't do trades or gifted Pokemon. So like, in a lot of campaigns, you'll come up to like someone and they'll just be like, oh, blah 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 blah. I think I was in a campaign where it was like, oh, this person had a Ponyta, and one of our trainers in the team was a rider.
Oh! Here's a thought. Okay, so here we go. Here's the carrot to the stick.
Okay.
Traded Pokemon gain 20% more EXP.
True, because actually that is a PTU feature which they do not cover. Because in the video games, traded Pokemon actually do get bonus EXP.
Yeah, while that works with normal EXP, if you're doing milestone, the GM just has to pay attention and give extra levels.
Okay. I think it's person supposed to have the name. I'm not sorry, but they said the name of the skill should be "It's not mine, I swear."
It's not mine, I swear.
So another way you could say this.
I'm sorry. I like my path is my own. Sorry.
No, it's just fun. It's like it's not mine. I swear. That's why it's getting so much experience.
So, Pokerus. What does Pokerus do again?
It allows you to get EVs faster. That's a random disease that has nothing to do with Nuzlocke. It's the thing.
I know, but I'm saying this is a part of trading.
So,
because you have to have a Pokemon. So basically, someone trade So Pokerus infects a game, and all the Pokemon on that game will get that, and then if you trade one of those Pokemon to another game, it infects that game.
And basically, Pokerus makes your EVs happen a lot faster, so you'd get more stats as you go. So that's a different option of the carrot you could give to the carrot to the stick.
Okay.
That doesn't do anything in PTU though. EVs isn't a factor.
You could give it. You could have them gain additional stats, like 1 additional stat point every 3 levels.
Dude,
Yeah.
by level 30, that's 10 additional stat points. If
Yeah,
if I'm
I
doing
don't
that
do
math
that.
right, which I don't think I am, but that sounds right.
No, you are. You are doing.
You are.
Yeah.
I know it's a lot.
But that also means you're using one of your mercy bonuses, where you take a Pokemon from 0 to 4, and you can only do that 3 times. So that means
wait.
you're wasting it on a Pokemon you didn't train. It's a traded Pokemon.
Never mind. Wait. So you can have this Pokemon traded you gain 20% more experience. Professor Nuzlocke was a monster. He infected my game with Pokerus.
Okay, Pokemon traded to you gain 20% more experience, or if the GM is using milestones,
They get a bonus stat
they
per level or
get.
something
Not per level.
Oh,
that's
that's
too
a lot.
much.
I would say 1 additional milestone every 5.
Yeah.
That's the same as 20% experience.
Pokemon gain 1 extra level every 5 levels.
Yeah. And that way, technically, you end at the same end line. You just get there a little bit faster.
Yep. That
Uh,
works.
And then
Yeah,
I was gonna say for Professor Nuzlocke, you have to have what is that one skill that gives you a 8 instead of a 6 in a skill?
Virtuoso.
Virtuoso.
Yeah.
Have Virtuoso in 2 skills. Ignore every negative side effect of this class.
Well, that's what I suggested, but
no.
we decided to say no. Just every class feature is what's required.
Well, yeah, that's what
Yeah,
I was
every
gonna
class
say.
feature will take a milestone.
Every class feature and 2 like Virtuoso classes.
Virtuoso skills.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
you have to have 2 skills at 8, and you have to have every other class feature. Ignore all negative side effects.
I don't think all negative. I think choosing one and negating the negative and keeping the positive would be fine.
Yeah.
Or maybe 2, but every single one, that no.
That was a joke. Well, it's supposed to be Professor Nuzlocke was a monster.
Okay, so Professor Nuzlocke was a monster. Notes. Upon... special. Should I make it... Okay, effect. Effect or notes?
Are you going to summon Professor Nuzlocke?
Yeah, upon taking this feature, the trainer...
Trades in their gold, their normal card for a like platinum card.
The trainer discovers the location of the originator of this challenge, Professor Nuzlocke.
And challenge them to a one-on-one death match.
The trainer must go. Must then, or how about may then? May then go on a journey to challenge Professor Nuzlocke to a Pokemon battle. Exact details of the battle are at GM discretion. Upon
Defeating Professor Nuzlocke.
Upon defeating Professor Nuzlocke,
He will present you with a new trainer card.
upon defeating, the trainer will receive a new trainer card.
Where the trainer can, I guess, get rid of 1 negative side effect from one of the features in this class.
But keep the benefit.
Well, that's what I said. Just
Let me check
negative.
something real quick.
Because I mean, I believe the only negatives, and this would apply to my path is my own, one chance, and
hold on. Upon receiving a new trading card, this card negates the loyalty penalties to all class features. The loyalty and positive capture modifier to all class features. Negates the
well, that removes the negative effect from trading.
loyalty.
That removes the negative effect from removes only capturing one per route, and it removes the negative effect from fainting. So it's basically what I was saying. It removes all the negative effects from the class.
But yeah, I'm just wording it a way that kind of fits PTU at this point. This card negates the loyalty 0 and positive capture modifiers to all class features.
Yeah, the only that you still have to follow the like Poke Center and stuff like that, but you can at least catch more Pokemon at that point. So it doesn't get rid of all the negatives, but it gets rid of a lot of the core classes for defeating the original.
Sub notes. Email this or send a message to this website, and you will be forwarded Professor Nuzlocke's party.
Oh, okay.
So basically, this allows you to put a stamp on it, basically saying that any GM running this game, if they get to this point, they contact you, and you hand them the 6-member team that Professor Nuzlocke has.
Jesus Christ, I have no freaking interest in doing that.
No.
like, that's a real cute idea, but no.
Well, that's basically, it's like they're going up against, like you said, okay, Professor Nuzlocke, this, and this. I mean, because I feel like this is, okay, so now Professor Nuzlocke is a character made by the GM. Well, I guess the GM then gets to cater it towards the player.
Yeah.
I think it would be better for the GM. The closest thing to what you suggested would be Stewart, and maybe since and like his friends, maybe make the 6-people team and put it in the sheet. But that would allow the player to know what.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, I wouldn't put it in the sheet because that allows the player to make a strategy.
But the thing is, they could quite literally email that person as well, or email it as well. So it's better just to leave it to the GM.
Yeah. So upon taking this feature, the trainer discovers the location and originator of this challenge, Professor Nuzlocke. The trainer may then go on a journey to challenge Professor Nuzlocke to a Pokemon battle, or challenge the to a battle or contest. There we go. The exact details of the battle are at the GM discretion. Upon defeating Professor Nuzlocke, the trainer will receive a new trainer card. This card negates the loyalty 0 and positive capture modifiers to all class features. Trainers may only challenge Professor Nuzlocke once per year.
True. And this is also because if they fail, that means they're losing 6 Pokemon.
Yeah.
Unless they use one of their mercy rules.
Yeah.
That's actually interesting though, because if you take the rank 3 fair fight and you go up against Professor Nuzlocke, well, I guess so we'd have to say in the rules that Professor Nuzlocke is only allowed to have 5 Pokemon.
Yeah.
Basically saying the trainer has to go up against him with 5, so that way fair fight isn't always automatically in play. Because that way you can negate fair fight if you want to take 6 versus his 5.
Even the playing field. Okay, so let's go over the ranks real quick. So Pokemon Tabletop United Nuzlocke class. I'm gonna just delete that real quick. Pokemon Tabletop United Nuzlocke runner. Let's give this a different heading one. Class prerequisite 1 skill at expert. Effect: your nickname Pokemon get a +1 to 2 chosen base stats. Non-nickname Pokemon get a -2 to 2 random, or a -1 to 2 random base stats. Roll 1d6 to determine blah blah. Your nickname Pokemon have a base loyalty of 4. However, if under your ownership a Pokemon faints, their loyalty score is lowered to 0 and will not gain the benefits of the Nuzlocke runner class until their loyalty regains a loyalty rank of 4. Note: upon taking this class, your trainer has entered what is referred to as a Nuzlocke League Challenge. Your trainer will gain a special trainer card, and they must have in order to receive league benefits such as free Pokemon League restoration, shopping at official Pokemon League locations, and all official league challenges. Mercy rules, ranked 3, rank 1, Nuzlocke runner, 1 chance, my path is my own, rank 2, 2 skills at expert, rank 3, 3 skills at expert static.
One thing I would do is move 1 chance in my path is my own above this.
Okay.
Since I'm required for it.
Yeah. Alright, addressing a couple questions. Aren't you allowed to choose any Pokemon as a start in Nuzlocke? I mean, PTU already has the rules where you can choose any Pokemon as long as it's deemed an underdog. So, I mean, you can kind of get around that. Also, Stuart, if you're making a class, why would you have to make a character that's required or connected to this class? It just seems like a class specifically made for a certain type of game. Basically, it's a challenge. It's if you want to play PTU with an extra little bit of fun in it. It's the same reason not everyone plays a Nuzlocke when they play their normal Pokemon game.
Yeah, the idea of tying an NPC to this class is ridiculously silly, and if you have criticism to that, that is I understand that one because
no, he's talking about Professor Nuzlocke.
Yeah, I can't get behind the Professor Nuzlocke idea. Yeah, that's what he's upset about because tying an NPC that has to exist is kind of dumb. And this was mostly an inside joke for the channel, so because of Phoenica. So if we want, how about this then?
You can make it any trainer.
Yeah, it's also the thing is like this is an NPC inserted into the story, but there's no plot attached to this trainer. There's nothing attached. This can literally be an old dude that lives in the middle of a swamp.
Or the other option is just make it to champion, like a lot of people do. It's just
yeah. See, this character just has to exist, and you have to beat this character. This is not like adding plot points. The only plot it adds is the fact that you have your Nuzlocke class trainer.
I'll put GM discretion. If the Professor Nuzlocke character should discretion. If the Professor... Let's try that again. If the Professor Nuzlocke character does not fit the setting of the campaign, the GM may change this to any other I don't know what I'm going to say. Any other challenge or any other NPC challenge or test of strength they deem worthy. There.
Yep.
How about that?
That's
Pokemon.
sounds good to me.
When reading it, you have to keep in mind it is a homebrew class, so you as a GM would have to let this in, and you can see that there's a professor there from the start if someone's trying to plan forward for this.
Yeah, and also
so you can try and plan forward for that fact and drop hints here and there if you want it to have the professor, or drop hints here and there of what you want to have happen in the future.
And honestly, with a NPC like this, I mean, no, I'm not going to say anything as a DM, but like if the DMs, if they see a person taking this class at level 5, they're not going to get to Professor Nuzlocke till they're like level 20, which is probably like a year's worth of like weekly sessions. So it's like the GM's going to have time to repair. This isn't like an instant character just thrown into the story. This is a character that like from when the person takes it, the GM's like, okay, well, now there's a potential of an NPC, and they have like a long time to plan, because even if they're going milestone, that's still like 15 milestones that they have to pass.
Even like, and also if you see, I mean, this is if we're gonna go hypothetical, can you save features and edges?
No.
Wait, seriously?
Yeah, you have to take a feature and edge every level.
Yeah, like whenever you get them, you have to take them right away.
So, hold on.
Okay, so then that idea gets scrapped anyway. Okay,
so who's part of the stream tonight from the group? No one. These are all patrons. You may join our chat by becoming one of our patrons on Patreon. Link down below.
Insert giant shill anvil here.
If a...
You know what? I'm not sure if he would kill me if I asked for help for him. Because one of my editors is going through some tough times, so I'm just like, I want to help.
Yeah.
If the
Yeah, not
If
that
I'm
one.
not comfortable, I won't do it though.
set in a Game of Thrones setting, if the campaign is takes place in a Game of Thrones setting,
An opposing emperor.
Professor Nuzlocke must be named Watashi.
Nuzlocke might be replaced with an ancient.
Nobunaga.
Yeah, with an ancient Pokemon.
Warlord.
Ancient Pokemon rivaling Warlord. Warlock. Warlord. Let's see. Mystic Ritual.
True, yeah. It could be a summon.
Yeah, or other such challenges. I'm going to put, for examples. Do not feel restricted to limiting this feature to a Pokemon battle. Yeah, there we go.
I was about to say, yeah, and stuff like Porygon Dream of Marie, it could literally be some sort of digital test because sci-fi.
Yeah. Or it could also be the thing is like you could stick it as like if you're doing a standard gym crawl, you don't get this until you beat all 8 gyms. Or you have 8 badges. Because obviously you want this before you face the league, because it's kind of...
Quite literally, the Professor Nuzlocke could be replaced by the champion.
Yeah. But I mean, also you gotta think about like how many... I mean, some campaigns are like continue after like you beat the league, but some campaigns when you beat the league it might fall, so...
Yeah. So
I guess this is a prestige feature anyways. It's kind of like prestige classing in any game.
It's one of those things that all depends on the GM. They could quite literally say, okay, I have multiple things set out, and each time you pass this test, one of the negative things gets taken away instead of all at once.
Watashi is Table Ninja Thunder Girl.
What?
Actually, if you guys are watching the stream, Watashi is the character in the little digital poster that's up there.
Which you can get at our website at loadingthroughcrafts.com.
Hey, I got shill!
Insert shill anvil here.
I think you might know because of the whole her headband says table instead of shinobi.
Yeah, that reminds me. I really need to implement that freaking sprite for the eggs game.
Monkey Jones. Okay, so yeah.
I love the fact that Monkey is the example for a Nuzlocke challenger.
Yeah, so basically what we thought is like for the fresh floof equivalent, it's Monkey. If you're going by the Pokemon anime, a lot of us are agreeing on Paul from Sinnoh.
Paul's, he's pretty similar. Not exactly, but pretty similar.
I mean, his Pokemon lose every once in a while, but he's kind of the guy's like, if it's not worth it to him to have that Pokemon, he doesn't have Pokemon.
Yeah.
By the way, Stuart, I do gotta thank you for letting me use the Watashi sprite as well as your avatar.
Oh no, that's fine, dude. Yeah.
How would this work for a mystery dungeon game? I'm pretty sure mystery dungeon Pokemon games don't have trainer classes.
You actually can do it, but like the trainer features are like Pokemon boosting trainer features would be worthless there, and it's more of that kind of thing.
Yeah. So.
Plus, what's the fun of taking this as a Pokemon? Like, if you faint, you're gone. That's kind of like an insta-kill yourself. Why would you take this as a Pokemon? If you just happen to faint, your game's over. Your friends are sending you to the funny farm.
Question from chat.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm saying, Stuart, are you going to post the link to the doc for us all to view? No, this is a special thing for patrons, but I will leave this stream up for non-patrons, so if you want to skim and just copy and paste all of this like a thief, you can totally do that.
Like a thief?
Like a crime.
Oh yeah.
I was here.
We need to put a patent on this and say intellectual property of Fresh Fruit Discord. Or the Loading Crew Discord.
I was about to say, and now all you need to do is change it for PTA, which, in a way, should be a bit simpler since you know the system so well.
And also, you don't have to deal with all the adept and the expert and virtuoso of classing.
Yeah, I was actually about to ask, and I see it right there. The prerequisites: you have to be an ace trainer. That makes sense.
It certainly does. Yeah.
I do like the way the PTA does it, but it also...
I like how it has subclasses to your classes.
That's the thing. I like the freedom, but I also like the subclasses. So, to be an Aura Guardian, you need to be a martial artist. That makes sense, but sometimes you just want to be an Aura Guardian without, having a million and a half moves.
That's the one thing I had. Like, PTA, I'm like, I want to be a writer, but Pokemon Ranger, though. That's not me.
No.
I mean, I befriend Pokemon, but I'm not about making them do stuff for me.
Yeah, PTU is admittedly the superior game just because of how much customization you get. But the problem is, I'm a big baby and I don't like reading, and I don't like learning a bunch of rules that
Well,
that
that's
are
what
just...
Ike's game is for.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, in truth, a lot of what I know, and unfortunately that means I have to kind of I have to read up on more on some things, but I learned how to GM PTU from you, even though it's PTU and you do PTA.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. I was going to say, yeah.
That's real sweet.
So the big thing I love about PTA is the fact that you guys still have a frickin' breeding and evolving based class. They frickin' got rid of that in PTU, and that pisses me off.
Yeah. Also,
because that is my favorite thing. That is my first Pokemon memory is breeding Pokemon for my friends who took them to competitions. Yeah. That's what I did as a kid. I would just breed the Pokemon, and I enjoyed it. Because they take it out of PTU, I'm just well, okay, now I can have eggs, but other than making eggs, there's no benefit.
Now it's a
research field.
Actually, no, it's totally destroyed. It got distributed between everything, so most of the features from the breeder are now just natural features. So other than you have to get the breeding feat.
It's a legitimate edge.
So it's a breeding edge to even hatch Pokemon, to make Pokemon, but all the other features that were from the class are now just thrown into natural hatching. So it used to be a feature is if you had adept Pokemon education, you could determine the ability, I think ability or nature of the Pokemon, but it's one of the three, ability, nature, or gender. If you had expert, you could determine another one of the three. You got to pick two of the three, and then if you had 5. Which I don't remember what the 5 is. You could pick 3, and then if you had master, if you had tier 6 for it, you could actually. That's where this one special was. Mm. So this one special used to be a part of the breeding class.
Yeah, freaking. Oh God, who is that? Dan. He's it's pronounced Unova, not Unova. How dare you bring that shit?
I was about to say, I've heard both pronunciations even in the anime, so yeah.
I mean,
it's fine. I'm just salty because people are always correcting me because I'm so bad at Pokemon.
Hey, you should be happy. You should be happy that Stuarty even says it. I just call it Gen 5 because I never played that gen.
Yeah. Also, if for those who don't know, Arceus was the original pronunciation, official was Arceus, and now it's Arceus. For the simple fact, arse.
Yeah, it's not a huge deal. It's.
I know.
It is just fun though.
Oh, expert is 5, adept is 4. Okay, maybe it was novice, adept, expert. Novice gave you 1, adept gave you. I just know it was. They had skills for 3, 4, 5, and 6. 3, 4, 5 was you can pick the nature, the gender, or the ability. And then 6 is at 6 you got to determine, okay, these 3 Pokemon are special when they hatch. Which I loved. But the only thing is the reason they took out Breeder is because they didn't have a efficient way of leveling up Pokemon from level 1. So if you were starting to breed Pokemon in the middle of a campaign, your Pokemon would always be under-leveled. And they had one feature which was decent, which was basically as long as one of the parents of the Pokemon was out and you had it battling, the child Pokemon, if it's watching, got 50% of the experience. but it was still low leveling because that means you had to use the parents, which some breeders don't always use the parents because why would I have a level 50 sand slash and then breed it with something to get another sand shrew? Like, obviously, if you're gonna level something up, you only level up the one that's actually got what you want.
Well,
If you're like, if you get into breeding, at least.
If you go PTU wise, there's stuff like train the reserves.
Well, there is that, but it was still very slow, so that's why they nixed it because it didn't have there was no really good way to get Pokemon up. What they should have done feature wise is they should have just said it should have just been like any Pokemon in your party. It should just said like if you battle with any, as long as you and it's
XP
watching.
share.
Yeah, it should be basically equivalent of the XP share. If you have little Jamie, the level 1 Ponyta out, but you have like your Garchomp fighting, and obviously your Garchomp's just another general Pokemon, little Jamie should still get 50% of that experience. It shouldn't. His parents shouldn't have to be out. It should just be a bond of your team.
Well, that everything in a way boils down to GM discretion.
Yeah.
For example, I'm in a game where I took train the reserves, but it's a milestone sort of thing, so EXP is weird. So we just made it so it's double my command rank, like once a week instead of like once a day.
Yeah.
So
I recently gave my players, well, the gold session players, a EXP share, but it's a modified. Oh, what gen was it that it was basically? Oh yeah, no, everybody gets all the experience.
Oh, that was Gen 7. That's when they started doing that.
Yeah, it's a modified version of that, except Pokemon in the reserves get half instead of the one that's in front.
But that's also like the thing I've started to notice in like a lot of my PTU games is people are using one Pokemon.
that's
like,
how it works
I
in
swing-
PTU a lot of times.
I was gonna say I swing between my multiple Pokemon, but mine are always underleveled compared to like oh yeah, my Pokemon's level 15. I'm like, mine's only like a level 11. I'm like, what is your overall level? And they're like, oh, my overall level is like 23. Because they have like a level 15 and they have a couple low levels. I'm like, oh, well, my overall level is like 35. Because I have like 4 high level Pokemon.
I like
high
how-
level, but
Like the book tells you not to overlevel, but then when you actually take a look at things, it's like, I don't know, man. It's kind of like the games. Like it reminds me of the game, and it's just like,
I mean, that's
I don't
honestly
know.
though, it's the way you play. Like
yeah, but
Luke can contest. I have a Pokemon that's like 4 levels below the other team's Pokemons, but this guy has all these like status effects and stuff like that. He's got things that paralyze, that trap, that poison, and like with this character, I've never had a Pokemon take an injury. Like I've never had a Pokemon go below 50 health because it's basically I just trap the enemies. And then I switch to my damage dealing Pokemon, and then they take out the enemy. So
Yeah,
it's just
that's
like how you
strat-
play.
Yeah, it's a strategy.
Yeah.
But in my opinion, that's up to the DM for how to get things up faster. In my campaign, I've already done it once. I'm essentially giving points where they can sit down for like a few days, and they can have a certain number of levels that they can distribute to any Pokemon they want, so they can catch up behind Pokemon or strengthen Pokemon they already have.
I would say yeah, because I also play another game that like so the one with loot is experience based, so that's why all my Pokemon are lower. But I play one that's milestone based, and he basically says every couple of sessions he's like, okay, this is your new trainer level, your starters are all this level, all of your support Pokemon are now this level. Unless they were already that level, they get a +1. So like right now, all of our starters are 20, and all our supports are 15, unless they were over 15 before this. So like all my Pokemon, all my supporters were over 15 because I play my Pokemon evenly.
Is there a clever way I can name Carrot and Stick?
Carrot and
I
Stick.
I think that's already like.
Carrot and Stick.
Donut and Twig.
I was about to say Oddish and Shoulda Woulda.
Sudowoodo.
Yeah, I'll just call it
Then-
Carrot and Stick.
Oh, Shiv's already in the freaking roll 20.
But something what I do in my game, it all depends.
Let's
And
say,
I'm like,
you can say pro con.
I don't know, like, because that's already a colloquialism.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
in my game, I'll go, oh, you just did this important thing. Well, if you have a Pokemon above level 20, they gain 2 levels. If you have a Pokemon from 16 to 19, they gain 3 levels. And, stuff like that.
Okay, I don't know if you... Okay, so there's something... referring to Watashi's headband, so I don't know if all of you guys actually follow it or you're trying to figure it out. Watashi's a weeb, and she actually doesn't know what the symbol on her forehead means. So that's kind of thing. It's like she's into the culture, but she knows nothing. So like that's the joke of her character, is that like her headband says table instead of actually like ninja or something cool.
Shinobi
Did
what
someone
it's
actually
to say.
Did someone pick that out? Because
Yeah, they're talking about Table Ninja Girl Thunder. So they're talking about Watashi. I didn't know if you guys like were trying to figure out what the table meant, but like that's her thing, is like she doesn't know what it means.
yeah, she thinks it means Shinobi because she's Watashi and she's dumb.
But she is a legitimate good ninja.
Yeah. It's kind of like the whole thing with like tattoos in other languages, that people are always like, oh yeah, I got this tattoo in Chinese that says spirit. What if like a Chinese person went up and read it? It's like, no, that just means squatting dog.
Yeah. Yeah. I love how I'm not gonna like use Watashi's personality.
Oh, what are you gonna use?
I'm gonna have her be more subdued, because I don't want, because again, we do say like questionable canonicity. I say that a lot with Utopus, so I'm basically just saying it's just somebody that looks like Watashi. It's because that was the whole point in like when I asked you for it too.
That's fine.
It's just somebody that looks like her, and she's a bit more subdued. But I don't know. I've ended up taking.
It's Watashi's fangirl.
Well, what?
Yes.
Who
Who in their right mind would fangirl Watashi? Jesus.
Well, she does get shit done.
So, something I thought about doing at one point, I think I'm actually going to use Watashi, even though I'm going to butcher her speak a bit. But literally, it's a uniform at like a theme park or whatever. So she's just like, I have to wear this all the time. And so she looks like that, but she just really hates the uniform.
Oh my god, no, or it'd be better is like, it's the uniform that like, okay, so like they have a museum of like all the battles that went down in Utopus, and she's the poor unfortunate girl that has to wear the Watashi garb. It's like, so Watashi was a ninja from the ninja village from year blank to blank.
Yeah, no, I don't know how it's ended up, but I've ended up having to try doing her voice enough, so it's just been and I just devolve into like I'm full on. I have no idea what the hell I'm saying. I'm just saying things.
I was just gonna say in the chat as well. We all love the Watashi as well, outside the game.
I'm not a hate. I don't hate her, but
I mean, I doubt I don't think my character will ever run into her, so I don't have to hate her in the game or like her in the game.
Yeah.
I think what's his name? Mother's Basement released a really good video today, called "Best Worst Girls," and I'm gonna call this the Konosuba Law. Because it was really good, because everyone loves the girls from Konosuba if you watch it, and they're all just the worst, but they're the worst on purpose. And everyone loves them because they're just endearing because of how awful they are. And it just makes them more real, and it makes them fun, and they have really cute designs. But, they're all terrible. Like, you would not want to spend time with any of these people. So, I think Watashi follows the Konosuba rule. She is purposely awful and purposely annoying, but that makes her more endearing, because she...
I mean,
like she's got her passions, and
Yeah.
like she's super innocent in that way, and everyone can kind of identify with that. So
Oh,
I mean,
yeah,
I would
definitely.
spend time with Watashi if I could just put duct tape over her mouth.
Well,
Like honestly, she's very cute. Her personality is very peppy. It's just like the whole weeby side to it is just kind of like ugh.
I admittedly I am toning down the weebiness a little bit, but
I've
like
noticed.
just
I
because
think
mostly because I don't know how to be that annoying. Like I know I was that person in
Yeah.
high school, but
But honestly, I think she's growing up a little bit because, you know, she showed up and she was like 100% weeb, and yeah, you said you're dialing it back because you don't know how, but she's seeing more and more of what is actually going on, and as such, she, you know, is kind of dialed it back to something where people can tolerate her more, but she can still be invested.
Yeah, it's kind of like when she signed up, she went full weeb because she's like, oh, secret society, I'm a ninja, it's cool going on super secret stealth missions. And then she slowly started to realize what Team Vision is, and at this point, it's like it can be seen. You've played her more so that now at this point she's only following her sensei.
Yeah. Which reminds me, Stuart, are you ever gonna do anything with the idea that how long ago? Was that 3 months ago?
Like giving
one?
Watashi a pupil.
No. We ended up talking about like how to do exposition on a character's backstory, and I was like, oh hey, what about Watashi? She's a blabbermouth.
It's you're gonna have to remind me, dude.
Was his
You're acting like a weeb
Akimoto.
Stuart. You have fooled me.
Akamoto?
What about him?
You want it?
Have Watashi explain Akamoto's backstory?
Yeah, you said Akamoto is going to be tricky to give backstory to. He is a dude with very few words, and it's very practical. I put nice. I'd suggest trying to figure a way to get Scarlet to channel him while he's in Bursto. If you really want to reveal it, or Watashi might know. She's a blabbermouth type.
Well,
Or
Watashi's still
Lucario
yeah.
might know.
Watashi's still gonna be in the story because a patron has paid to be her pupil. So
I do remember that.
and so with that, she will show up once in a while with this new pupil, and essentially, all right, this is spoilery. So
Well, because they're all Nakama now.
they're all
So Nakama,
Oh my
they're all
God.
Nakama. So she must visit her Nakama.
I hurt when you said that.
What?
Anyway,
That's how she says it. I know it's Nakama, but
Oh.
so
Anyways.
I am legitimately that distant from that kind of stuff nowadays.
Anyway, so yeah, Watashi and Akamoto are going to play a big part because if you saw the post-Infinity War, Akamoto looked up star charts, and essentially they're going to run into the pupil, they're going to run into the Watashi, and then they're going to run into Akamoto, and at different points they're going to start gathering MacGuffins, and these MacGuffins are going to be used to basically find a meteor shower, and at the meteor shower they're going to try to get a wish from Jirachi.
Okay.
well, wasn't there a meteor shower that killed all of Venti's friends?
No, that was Meguro Rayquaza.
Oh, I just know they got crushed by
Look
something.
from Lytic's backstory.
But yeah, I've had like when it comes to making characters and stuff, I've had a lot of fun with my Team Rocket admins.
See, I like the thing about my character now is, I mean, I don't know if like you know JTM in combat, but like the funny thing is like, so my character is playing on the joke of the doodle-doom from Jesus, and like in the last episode while they're in space, they're talking about how like Jesus got furious and is like doodle-doodle-doodle-doom. I'm just like, that puts my character in this space. So it's just like now just seeing that, just like yes, there's my character. It's just like at this point, it's just like even if it's seen or unseen, I always know that like wherever Jesus is, my character is not far behind. Ugh. Yeah, PT is a bit weird because also aren't there like 15 edges per class? or features per class that you can pick from?
I think 10, but the problem is with PTA is like half the features are worthless. So you get 2 base features when you take a class, and then there's anywhere from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That one has 11. Wow. So like 13 features total.
I mean, we can make up crap features, like, if you catch a first stage Pokemon, you can automatically evolve it, but not up its level. So,
Yeah,
I mean, we can make crap features like that.
So
or if you catch a bug Pokemon, you can take it to 3rd level instantaneously.
What I'm doing here is mechanic. Every feature has a rule that must be followed in order to gain the benefits. If a player breaks the rule, the trainer permanently loses the benefit carrot of a feature while still returning the negative stick.
There are classes that have that.
Yeah, that's what it's explaining here. So in every feature, I'm going to have a rule, carrot, and stick.
Because I think it was like one of the classes you can do yoga or workout. You have to do it every 3 days.
PTA is kind of ruthless when it comes to that.
You have to like do this every 3 days, or you lose your +1 to strength or whatever. And then there's also the one thing where every time you go to a new town, you must spend $500 immediately or above in that new town, or you lose that like special like big buyer feature or something like that.
Yeah.
Alright, a Nuzlocke run. The effect. The trainer enters a special Pokemon League challenge called a Nuzlocke run.
Make a primal Giratina.
Oh, jeez. Oh my god.
Thing is,
I don't think
is it officially like?
I don't think Giratina gets a primal. Primal is only 3rd gen.
That's Primal's only
Yeah.
Kyogre and Groudon.
Yeah, and then Mega Rayquaza has the whole
Mega
but
Rayquaza
that's
is
a Mega.
I think Mega Rayquaza technically is its primal equivalent.
Yeah,
Eh,
I mean,
theoretically.
Because the thing is like the thing with Groudon and Kyogre is Rayquaza calmed them to the states they are when they're not their primals. Rayquaza, sorry. Well, they can be pronounced. There's different ways to say it. Rayquaza never calmed down because he is the guardian, so he didn't have to devolve. Essentially, so Kyogre and Groudon devolved from their chaotic states to less chaotic states. He's up there in the sky constantly guarding over the world. He doesn't have to devolve because he's a natural protector.
yeah. I used to say Rayquaza, which I don't know. I still kind of prefer it, but what movie was it? The one with Deoxys versus Rayquaza.
Oh yeah, where they're on that island.
The final
Destiny
boss
Deoxys.
is cubes. The final boss is cubes.
Yeah.
Venti and Chibitina versus Palkia and Daga. No, I'd like to see a Chibi fight between the 3 of them.
Between what?
Between Chibitina, Palkia, Chibi Palkia, and a Chibi Dialga.
Oh my god.
Like it's like when Team Fresh Floof goes into like the hall that belongs to Arceus or however you pronounce his name, all the Pokemon get chibitized in his presence. So you just see a little Chibitina, a Chibidialga, and a Chibi Palkia just arguing with each other and just like me, and then Arceus is just like, oh my god, just please shut up.
And you could
This
also
is
have
what I
it actually
drink!
you could also have it affect like their actual Pokemon stats too.
Yeah, so like even like if they go in there with their other Pokemon, like Lucario is now a Chibi Lucario. Or like you could have them all devolve in its presence, like they all go back to their first stage. Like it is like his godly aura that everything is like measly in his presence, besides humans.
Yeah.
Like I would find that adorable, especially if like Wallaby goes in there as burst mode, and he steps through the door and just goes from burst mode Lucario to burst mode Railu. Like if you have like Scarlet try to walk in there in her special form, she just gets stuck by an invisible force that is the door. It's like, I can't get in, guys! I can't get in!
And trying to think.
I was say, wasn't technically Necrozma supposed to have a a thing like that we studied out.
What now?
I think it was Necrozma. Basically, you studied out his like laws, and one of the laws is every other legendary or god loses its powers in his presence.
Oh god, I don't remember, dude.
I was about to say that would make sense for Sol Galeo and Lunala, but wouldn't make sense for say Shibitina or Genesect.
Well, it was basically stated at the time as if like if he turned on this log, it would snap Scarlet out of her special mode because all other deities basically are powerless. I don't know. It's like something from like when we studied all the Pokemon and characters that really never got used, which is just due to the big cluster that was the lower room of like having 15 people Stuart had to control.
I haven't even done 2 groups yet. I'm gonna hate myself on the 11th. It's only 2 groups too. Fuck me.
So I believe this coming Friday we get to fight a gym together with Stuart.
Oh yeah.
Bikes campaign?
Yep.
Yeah.
We'll see how Bone Lord, his Q-Bone, and his, was it a time pole?
I had a time pole, I think, yeah.
Temple.
Yeah.
How they all fare against the gym, because I don't even know I think he stated what the gym is, but I forget. I think he said it was grass and fire. Which is sort of really odd combination.
Well, if he does the Stewart thing where one Pokemon has to be both, typings, there isn't a typing like that.
A chibi burst Scarlet and Crystal.
Well, maybe I missed something at one point because but I keep noticing there's a grown Crystal in the sidebar sprite. Like, was that something you just scrapped?
Yeah, mostly I just didn't have time to cover it. Tracy did not like drawing Lolly Crystal. And so she said, can she grow up because, she's in god form now? And I'm like, I guess. It's just that I keep forgetting about it. How about I just say, like, in god form, she ages a little bit, so.
She grows to more
her body matures to the power it contains.
There you go.
That's a good.
A small, frail body would not be able to contain the power of a god.
Is the Vision arc just done? For the most part, Layla's in jail, and Sarah is dead at the moment. So
and
for
Mumkey and someone else are in space.
They're in the Nightmare timeline now. If
did I miss?
If I want to permanently remove Mumkey from the campaign, I can, because I established a rule that Burger cannot leave Ultra Space, and he got sent to the Nightmare timeline. So, like, if I want to make it real dark and, like, just never bring back Mumkey, I could say, yeah, you were all teleported there, and because of the restrictions of being a soul, like, Burger just exploded and killed both of you. Like...
Burger used self-destruct.
It was super effective.
I'd like to
see self-destruct as a...
I'd like to see
just
more
have
Mumkey.
it kill Mumkey, and maybe they run into Squid when they get into Arc 3.
Yeah,
if he's available.
So I liked Mumkey, and I think Mumkey had a good time when it was just us. But the problem was, like, we built him up to be Thanos, and he ended up being Snoke.
Yeah.
So like, I'm actually rewriting that part, and I'm going to have Jakey animate a fight between Team Vision's finest and Mumkey's team.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, honestly, though, there's a lot of setup, but that was the whole camp. I believe after watching that encounter, the whole encounter was dependent on how Venti's team acted.
Yeah, essentially. Because
if they were going to be hostile to Floof, then it would have gone the way that you had all these characters stood out for, but because they were allies, it kind of...
Yeah.
I
mean, I still need to watch 42.
I'm sorry.
I know.
I'm sorry, dude.
It's my own. I should have been like, hey, but I let you guys talk.
I mean, it's like as I said, I'm trying not to actually give the details, just like as I said, special form and like those kind of things. But
Besides, like, I already learned maybe what happened to Sarah, or I know something got wrecked by Venti.
Oh yeah, dude, he destroyed the plot like 3 times.
I went through the 5 stages of grief with Sarah. You have no idea. Like, I was alone in my room for like a day, just thinking like, this was months, this was years, this was years of work he just crushed in his hand. And it's funny because Will approached me later and said, "Yeah, if this was gonna do that, you could have told me no." I'm like, "Really, Will? Really?"
I mean, that is your power, though.
Well, honestly, I thought it was going to be one of those things. Unless he rolled a natural 20, it wouldn't happen.
But he rolled like a natural 20, didn't he?
It was a
No,
19.
like a 19.
And
19.
Venti's so crazy strong, and he's got all of the strength skills and the endurance
And
skills.
he's also a steel type trainer.
Yeah.
Steel Bates Rock.
Oh my
Honestly,
God.
that just has to be his epithet right now. Venti Steamroller, Destroyer of Plot.
Venti is a PTA character, right?
Yeah.
All guest characters are all PTA.
Some. I say anything that comes from Patron or some stuff comes from
I said guest
PTA.
characters.
Oh yeah,
I'm
guest
not counting
characters.
patrons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you actually bothered to like do anything for tech stats or just
For the guests?
no for text stats, or are you just being like, yeah, no, you're not supposed to fight him?
Oh, tech? Yeah, no, he's not gonna have stats.
I think the only one who loves stats at this point, I believe, is me, because I'm the only one who actually engages in an actual battle.
Well,
Other than I don't know about Enix. I don't know what his character is.
I can't remember. Enix, I think, is going to fight them. I do not remember.
Because I know Cygnus is the one that's introducing them to contests.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how he's dealing. That's how his quote unquote battle is with them.
Correct.
And then you're deeming at some point whether or not I fight Lavi and whether or not my revenge plot comes in the form of the contest.
Oh, I forgot about O'Flannery. God, he's such a fun character to play as.
Pokemon reach -20. There, max.
Oh, the sloppy kiss of Burger and Mumkey. Yeah, that was kind of.
I told Tracy to animate and draw that, and she said no.
I figured that.
There's very few things she's told me she would not draw, and that was one of them.
Oh, by the way, the description I gave you, right? You were able to send that off to Tracy?
Send it one more time.
Okay. Well, as I say, it should be in the file I shared with you.
It should
as a
be.
description.
I'm fairly certain. Who are the other guys with stewards? Well, Paladin Lord 15. The other guys with me are our patrons. Feel free to come and join us in this chat in our Discord server if you become a patron. Shill, shill, shill.
For the record, I was actually, like, not only did I learn how to do PTU from you, I also very much was inspired to the point where, yeah, I'm doing my own stuff like it.
Also, actually, PTU is the one that got me. Like, I've always wanted to play D&D, but I've never been able to find a game. And then I joined the server, and people were like, "Oh, PTU," and I got into that, and I'm like, "Oh, I need D&D now." And then I went back to my friends and were like, "We need to play D&D," and one's like, "Well, I have an idea," and it's like, "We're doing it."
Yeah. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, because Pokemon is this cutesy little thing, I don't really get to kill stuff in Pokemon. So the D&D lets me get out that anger. Because I get to kill stuff.
Absolutely can if you wish.
I know, but if I kill stuff, that also opens it up for me or my Pokemon to be killed.
Yeah, we've actually come close to a player character death in my gold campaign. That's what happens when you go against Team Rocket!
Well, I believe it was the episode before Stuart joined us in this last town. we were fighting something, and my character just got so PO'd that I picked up a Rattata, and I told Ike I rolled I rolled the damage for it, and he's like, yeah, it's barely hanging on. I'm like, can I snap its neck? He's like, what? I'm like, I just throw it. I was at 3 health, and literally I was the front line for my entire team because only me and my Pokemon on the team are really the ones that can take a heavy hit. So all the other ones are like behind me and my Pokemon all these hits, and me and my Pokemon were all down to like 2 health. And somehow the battle got resolved and it ended up, so basically at 2 health, my character kind of just passed out, and his Pokemon dragged him to a Pokemon Center. Which Stuart got to see as my Mudsbury ran over a cop.
Thank you, Prime Lord. I appreciate that. There's a guy on Twitch who says, I love this. Well, I appreciate that, man. Thank you. Oh, and they even submitted 5 bits. I didn't see that. Thank you. You
should tune in. I think it's Monday.
Yep.
I'm
doing one last. I'm doing one last. Yeah. Give me a second. I'm doing one last world building stream tomorrow where I finish up the Safari Zone, and then Monday is the start of Season 2. So yeah. Go ahead.
So it's a good place to jump in without having to catch up. Fully. I mean, eventually you'll want to catch up, but it's a good place to start.
Just catch up anyway. Just you know, just go from episode 1 all the way. What episode are you on?
Like 300 something.
Well, that's what I was saying. It's a good place to, because it's a season change. It's a good place to jump in where you're not going to feel left out.
Actually, if you are gonna just jump in, might as well watch Peasant Poppers. Let's face it. That's what everybody jumps on for.
No. You watch that in order, so you watch all the stuff up to Peasant Poppers, then you watch Peasant Poppers, then you watch the stuff with Peasant Poppers, and then you continue.
Okay, has anybody in here besides Stuart actually done that?
I have. That's how I watched.
Oh wow. Okay.
I'll say that's how I watched all my stuff. I watched from the beginning.
No.
Once I hit Peasant Poppers, once they were initialized, I actually paused the episode, watched all their individual stuff, and then went back. And then when they met another team that had their own like one-off and stuff like that, I paused again, watched all their stuff, and then came back.
You know, what I meant though was, when I had ran into Stuart, I have no idea. I have no idea what it was from. For a long time there, I'd been watching stuff like How to Be a Great GM, DM, and all that kind of stuff. And so I was I wanted to play, could not find a group for the life of me. Could not, and then I ended up coming across Utopus, and I was just like, and obviously Peasant Poppers first. Just like, that's the first thing I saw, and was like, okay, let's check this out. Because, if I remember correctly, Peasant Poppers is not labeled as, oh, by the way, this is a side story. It's, oh, hey, this is Peasant Poppers.
Yeah, it was like, I think it was a one-shot that just ended up connecting, right?
It says Pokemon Tabletop one-shot. Or Pokemon RPG one-shot. Let me double-check.
It does. And then I've known you got on file that, like, Jill suggested them running into the main cast.
Alright, and I'll answer Thunderstorm's fan. So yeah, my character is the tank. We are also only level 2. So I mean, even if I was a tank, I didn't have much HP, and I did have a tank Pokemon. But by the time we got to that encounter, I was already down half from a previous battle. So we entered a zone. We started walking across a bridge. Everyone but me in the party failed perception check. They were all sneak attacked by water Pokemon. The bridge was, I think like 20, 30 feet off the ground. And so I went after the big guy, and I jumped off the bridge, doing a pile driver into him, taking him down to like under a quarter of his HP, but I also took damage from the 20-foot fall into water. So yeah, I fought him, he fought me. By the time I finished that, I was at like a little above half my health. So yeah, I wasn't that tanky when it came to that. So I was about half when we ran into, I think it was 6 Rattata and Eradicate. And so then I basically got ganged up on them. Ganged up by ganged up on by them. Yeah, it was basic. It was a boss fight, which we ended with negotiations because the tank was at 3 HP, and when the tank goes down to 3 HP, it's not good.
Yeah. Oh, right. I was gonna talk about. So recently, one of our players actually had to, like, sorry guys, I'm going back to the gold thing that I was talking about earlier. One of our players actually ended up leaving. And he's had to leave a bunch of games. It was because his parents have become more strict, and so
Just real life issues.
Yeah, basically. And as such, like, he's pulled out of everybody's games, and it's just like, oh. So I'm like, well, looks like the curse is still here because I've been having a lot of problems with my 4th player slot in absolutely every campaign I've been running.
When is this played?
Actually, in the gold game is in 15 minutes.
Do you need a player?
No. We filled that slot with somebody who used to be here but has had troubles with somebody on the server, so decided not to stay.
Well, I mean, that's you just have to fill. I was gonna say because I have characters, or I could build a character in 15 minutes.
So, but anyway, so about that guy though, so he is on my server, and he's fun. He's a fun guy. And he was originally a member of Gold, but his computer broke down, and now he can be a member of Gold again. So, yeah. So when he joined back up when they were fighting Team Rocket. Like, I mean, that session when they fought Team Rocket. And Team Rocket being in the campaign has actually been a secret for, my god, like, how many? I think I was at session 5 for silver, session 4 for, I think that was session 4 for gold, and it's maybe session 6 for silver. So, 10 sessions in this world total. My god, I have... Oh. By the way, I have 2 games. Like, I run 2 things a week.
So yeah, I see you put out for streaming twice a week. Is your game in 15 minutes the one that's with Ike
Bike.
and Fire?
Yeah, Bike. No, Fire is in silver.
No.
They're in the same world, but...
They're parallel worlds.
No. They're... In fact, on the 11th, both teams are going to meet up.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Actually, Combat is in my Apocalypse World game, which I found because of loot strings.
Yeah.
And then he said, hey, who wants to do a one-shot? And we're like, okay, I'll give this a whirl. And then he's like, by the way, the next session is this. And we're like, what?
No. Okay, so what happened there was it was originally a one-shot, and then we ended up doing another session because it ended on a cliffhanger. And I was like, you guys just want to keep going? At least that's how I felt. It came across as different.
Yeah, at least to me, it sounded like, hey, we're having another session. It's like, what? I'm like, well, I don't mind per se, but it's just like, what? Yeah? But
yeah,
like, here's the thing, though. You said Team Rocket's been a secret?
Yeah.
My players don't even know there's an evil team in my area yet.
Oh, no. Here's the best part. In my campaign, like, on both sides, I have Team Purity, who is basically a bunch of eco-terrorists. They're basically, okay, you're not... Like, it's basically a bunch of kids who have gone, you're not freaking listening to us. You gotta decommission these nuclear power plants to install better ones with better security features. Listen to us about this. And...
So we're gonna blow them up to prove our point.
No. Their protests just end up very violent now. And it did escalate after these mutated Pokemon, which Now, they don't mess with typing per se, but they do mess with weaknesses and resistances, and it's so fun making them, especially since I make different sprites for them. But, yeah.
Excuse me.
Yeah, so... I forgot. Frick, where was I going? Alright, gold and silver... 11th... No, I lost my train of thought. That's fun. That's all the fun.
Yeah, okay, I'm looking at.
Nah, the main reason my players don't even know there's a evil team in the area is because the entire plot of my thing is, hey, things have been happening and there appears to be these hoopa running around just taking people in places.
Oh, yeah, I remember you talking to me about that.
Yeah, and so it's just one of those things where people are, like, literally they got to Pewter City, they ran into, like, Professor Sycamore, and he's with a whole bunch of professors in the museum who, you know, and they're trying to figure out, okay, how can we stop this, you know, is this truly Hoopa's doing, stuff like that. They're only getting scattered reports.
Quick joke. What do you get when all the professors are in one room?
A forest.
Damn it!
That was simultaneous, too!
Anyways, and, you know, the end result is they're on this reality TV show, blah, blah, blah. So they get done with the gym, and they come out, and they actually witness Hoopa taking the entire museum with the professors.
Mine.
And, yeah, so now it's one of those things where they aren't really looking into it because they're not the ones. There's still other people. There's, for reasons people are disappearing, and if they try to leave, like Kanto, they'll disappear too. But the way they found that out is the Elite Four was heading out of Kanto to talk to other Elite Four members to, like, try to figure out a plan, and, like, everyone on the plane except for the co-pilot, which was from Unova, like, just disappeared.
Wait, why didn't the... What?
Because he was from Unova, he wasn't from Kanto. It's specifically, like, Kanto and Eastern Johto people are affected by this weird anomaly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if it sounds weird and convoluted, that's because it is. There is a reason.
Right. So I was gonna tell about... Okay, so Team Purity is the bunch of eco-terrorists, and then Rocket has been in the background, kind of not exactly making things better. They've been doing a bunch of damage, and they've been doing some experimentation, and my god, I gotta thank Hero of Legend for some things. The dude has a great character, and because unlike Stuart, I just because of how you do cameo, or how I call them cameo characters, I'm just like, I don't want to make an NPC. You guys do it for me.
I'm kind of the same way. I just asked my friends, they're like, hey, you got any interesting characters I can use in this situation? They're like, let me just whip something up real quick.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Stuart. Subtle note: X might join us in the burst campaign at some point.
Oh,
for
really?
like a guest appearance. Well, because he's Lavi.
Oh.
So like it'll be like Lavi got sent to another region somehow, and then he sees us as like burst warriors, like, oh, interesting, or something like that. And I believe Bike has talked to X about it, and he's I think he has agreed to doing it at some point.
I know he was really excited.
Oh, I wanted to float this by you, Stuart.
New person in Twitch. Hello there, Var6ly. This is a world building stream for making a Nuzlocke class in a Pokemon-based Dungeons and Dragons-esque game called Pokemon Tabletop Adventures. as of tonight, we're just making a class. Tomorrow, I'm going to be working on more of our setting, and then Monday, we are starting season 2 of our adventure. I hope you join us. Go ahead. Whoever was talking.
All right. So, I've been working on a story. Like, I have no idea how old I was at the time, but this has been like it's a superhero story that's just kept on going throughout my entire life. I've just been building on, and as such, I was like, I didn't think at all of doing a tabletop, and then I recently remembered, oh yeah, Icon is a system. So I wanted to float an invitation.
I'm sorry. Could you repeat that? I'm a little distracted and I'm not sure what you floating an invitation. Continue.
For an Icon game.
What is Icon?
Superhero.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna have to pass for now. Maybe ask.
No. Like,
yeah.
This is probably far off in the future, especially since I'm definitely gonna wait until one of my other campaigns is finished.
Yeah, that's probably smart, man.
Don't. What I'm saying
Don't
is.
pull a bike.
What I'm saying is. Feel free to invite me again when the time comes.
Yeah.
But do not hold your breath for me. Do not wait for me, because
I just figured based off of your profile pic, you might find it interesting.
That could be fun. I've got 14 days left of summer vacation, and I need to make 3 months worth of content within that time. So
I was about to say, yeah, once he's back at school, he's not going to be able to do a lot of extra stuff, sadly.
Yeah.
That's sad. God,
All right.
Oh shit, that means it's a month till frick.
what's going on?
I might be getting a job as a tech guy for like a school district.
Oh.
So which means I have like a month to train up before school starts.
You should probably be getting on that, man.
Well, it's still in the hiring basis. They're still looking through like stuff like that, but it's tech for a school district, and I totally just was not even thinking about it till Stuart said like school starts back up. I'm like, oh wow, yeah, I didn't realize I'm back on the school schedule.
Yeah, I really do feel for you, Stuart, because I remember what my teacher said about their own schedules, and then I know the schedules of like going to cons and stuff. Like, my mom used to do craft shows, so I know it's not. I know it's probably more than that.
Well, you put a teacher's schedule on top of a crafter's schedule and a business owner, and it gets messy. I have only suffered so far, I think, 2 mental breakdowns. So I'm doing pretty good in my like 6 years of doing like this kind of thing. I just threw YouTube right on top of that.
I think the hardest part, I mean, sure, you might agree with this, from like what I could tell, is the fact that being a teacher doesn't stop at the end of the day.
It doesn't.
Like,
it really
majority of jobs is like, if you're working at like a call center, 6 o'clock hits, the little thing says go home, you drop your phone, you go home, you forget about your job.
Well, for me, it's 10 p.m. because I like the night shift.
But whatever, but I'm saying it's like you finish your work time, you drop it, you're not dealing with it. Teaching, you have to go home, you got to make lesson plans, you have to deal with, oh my god, student was doing this today, what am I going to do tomorrow? That kind of stuff.
Well, past that, people
All
say...
right. I gotta go, guys.
Okay.
People are appearing in gold chats, which is on my server.
Okay,
so,
talk to you later, man.
Yeah, possibly seeing me. I have no clue. I just know it's not. It's like it's currently 11 p.m. for me, and I know I gotta get ready for work at 5 a.m. So I'm not getting any sleep tonight.
Why did you do that to yourself?
I actually do it so I make sure that I actually get to work, because otherwise I'm gonna sleep through it, because I have a messed up sleep schedule already. Anyway, TTYL.
See ya.
I was just reading something. I think the coolest thing to do would be, this guy says I'd have 5 Geodudes and one level. The thing to get would be get a Rhydon and just a ton of Geodudes, and get it to a I think it's a Rhyperior, which is like the 3rd form, which you need like a combat
Protector.
Yeah.
Protector.
That thing in lore shoots Geodudes out of the hands and the holes in its hands.
Question.
It shoots Geodudes like a gun.
Should the shiny in PTA there are very specific rules for shinies. Should I just make shiny claws static?
Possibly. I don't know what the rules for PTA, but you know them better than us, so.
Well, yeah. What's the rule for shinies in PTA? Like, how do they come about? Or
You
what
roll
do they get?
every Pokemon you make. You're supposed to roll a D100, and if it's 100, it's a shiny.
Yeah,
So yeah, that's the same with PTU, but it only applies for hatching. It applies period. If you make a Pokemon, you roll a D100. If it's 0 or 100, it's a shiny. Same with when it comes to hatching a Pokemon.
Yeah, well, it again all falls down onto the DM because depending on the,
Yeah, what are the benefits of having a shiny in PTA? Is it just different colored, or is it?
You could do whatever you want, just like how in PTU. But capture specialists, however, get bullshit benefits to capture.
Oh yeah,
shinies.
they can force a shiny, can't they?
Watchers can force shinies, but if you're a collector and a capture specialist, you're just going to want to be one because you basically level up every shiny you catch.
Yeah.
Because when you become a collector as a capture specialist, the EXP needed to level up from catching new Pokemon goes from 10 to 8. But if you capture a shiny Pokemon, you get 8 experience points.
So it's insta level at that point, yeah.
Yeah.
So at that point, you want a dual class in the collector and watcher.
I'm not sure if you can, because Watcher might be Professor exclusive or Researcher exclusive.
Yeah, so that's the thing that I didn't like exclusively about the PTA is like it's hard to multi-class into things. Like I think Rider possibly is one that you can grab from the Ranger class without being a Ranger.
Yeah, there's a.
But it was one of those things. Like obviously like when I first was thinking it, and you're going by PTA rules originally before you allowed patrons to use PTU rules. I was like, I want to be a writer because I'll be like this funny delivery boy who's bringing like Jade a present from her parents, and it's like his thing is writer, so he rides a Pidgey across the sea. Then he gets to land, he switches on to like a Rapidash, and then he runs across the land. And he's like an instant delivery guy. He's basically FedEx of the Poke world.
Oh, you only need 18 special defense to be a Watcher. That's neat.
Okay, Thunderstorm says, why does Watashi burst with Ninetales? I'm pretty sure because Naruto.
Yeah, it's QB.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think Stuart mentioned she might end up bursting with other Pokemon in the future, just like Lavi can technically burst with
Charizard as well.
Charizard. Yeah.
Because in your campaign, the hearts aren't exclusive to one Pokemon. If you have one heart, you can burst with any Pokemon that's at a loyalty of 6 or equivalent. Whereas technically, the thing is supposed to act like a Pokeball, and it's bound to one Pokemon.
Yeah.
So like in Bike's game that we'll be playing, if we want to have 2 bursts, we'll have to have 2 hearts. Which finding one heart is almost impossible. Like we were given one by a professor that told us about it in the first place, but it's like finding another one's going to be hard. So like that's going to be like our ultimate trump card is bursting with a Pokemon, which I find funny because you are the Lord of Bones and you'll be bursting with a Marowak. That's just going to be hilarious.
Yeah.
Which I was wondering, are you going to take ground type base? Down the line?
Me?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, I guess you don't really know the PTU classes.
I really don't. Okay.
Basically, the PTU, ground type Ace allows you to bind a stratagem, which is basically for 2 AP you bind like kind of like an order to your Pokemon for the rest of the scene. And for the ground one, it's basically for the rest of the scene your Pokemon acts as if it was in a sandstorm. So if you have like Sand Veil and all those things, that increase its like dodge rate or its accuracy in Sandstorm. You get those benefits. It also, anytime you use, I don't know if this is the 3 per scene or 3 per day, or if it's like the at will, anytime you use a ground source move, you can turn the area where the attack was into rough terrain. So like if you do a burst of 3 around you, you can turn it all into rough terrain if it's a ground source based attack.
I don't know. Varsixley, I'm sorry, I can't pronounce your name. I'm in another Pokemon campaign with some friends and patrons, and I'm a character that does not fit their setting. I was not aware that their setting was dark and gritty, and I basically made Papyrus or Skeletor. That is what I introduced to their setting. And I'm sorry.
It works so well.
I named him the Bone
It
Lord.
was so dark before you came along, and you came along, and it's just like, although my character isn't especially a fan of your character, I enjoy it because before that we spent 3 sessions of a professor explaining about these horrible research experiments of binding people with their Pokemon are going on. Some die, some live with these like weird tentacles. And they're doing an experiment in a facility on little kids and wives, and we need to go rescue this dude's family. And like the entirety of it was 6 of us, and it was moved down to like 3 or 4 of us, and we're just like, holy crap! Like that's pretty heavy to throw on us in like our 3rd session. Like we got hit with the plot before we even got to the first city. Like that city we ran into you at is the first city we've been to.
Oh, jeez.
We started in the middle of the forest, so it's like we got hit with the plot like right out of the bag. It's just like, BAM! Plot right in your face, and like we got destroyed by burst warriors. So it's like you being a very lighthearted and funny character. I mean, eventually, I feel like you might dull the character down a bit more over time. I don't know, but like you being like lighthearted is like very helpful, especially because you're making Ike laugh more, which means it's not going to be as a dark-hearted campaign.
Oh no. I mean that sincerely. I don't mean to like ruin his campaign. I'm sure he's got a vision for what he's after, and
yeah, but it's like it was a very heavy before your character came along. It's like go save my poor wife and child that are being experimented on, and their beloved Pokemon is getting attached to them because this dude's Pokemon has already been ingrained in him. Like in bursts, like your spirit, like you guys take one body and your souls are kind of together in the body. He's basically the experiments is like the dude is around, but his Pokemon, who now he has like a Gudra tail and like Gudra antenna and stuff like that, his Pokemon soul no longer exists. The dead Pokemon's limbs are just attached to him, as if they were his own. It's like not a burst.
Interesting.
So it was like really heavy.
And he called me dark when I mentioned that a person's father was killed by ghost types and turned into a Yamask. That's actually Pokemon lore. That stuff's kind of disturbing.
Yeah, no, but yeah, that's like Pokemon lore. That happens, but it's like human experimentation where they take a human and fuse it with their loyal Pokemon, and the Pokemon's spirit ends up like disappearing over time.
Jesus.
It'd be basically if Flavi was in burst mode, and he was stuck in burst mode for the rest of his life, and his Lucario buddy just vanished. So he had the like ramifications of being in the burst mode. So he was half Pokemon, half human for the rest of his life, but he doesn't get to share the rest of his life with his partner. His partner is just gone.
Yeah, that's a little messed up. By the way, Stuart, I gotta say, it's kind of interesting how I come up with things for my campaign or my backstory, and then before I implement them into my game, you mention them or you use them in your stuff.
I'm just stealing your ideas, man. That's all I'm doing.
He's got a little like He's got a little hidden radio
in your brain, just stealing your brain ideas.
Before you introduce the Hoopas, I'm like, okay, my hook will be Hoopa. You know, it's just taking things. I'm like, okay, I worked around that. And then, like I told you, I have 2 backstories for Lytic. The one I told you, which was very bare bones, so you can just work with it how you need it to. And then the one that's a bit more fleshed out that I flesh out over time, that's where, the parent thing came from. But I'm like, okay, my team was a professional team.
Who cares,
I'm
man?
not going to say we run into a bunch of legendaries, but if there was one, which one would I run into? I'm like, you know what? It hasn't been used yet. Let's go Jirachi. What did you say earlier this stream?
Oh, this is actually great. So, yeah. I was wondering how my character would interact with like girls in your campaign, but I just looked and was like, he actually has an Adeptus Charm level. I think he'll do pretty good. Like, I don't think he'll be at like Jesus level, but he'll be able to, like, play in the ball field with Jesus.
He'll be the wingman.
Basically, that's what my character is.
But yeah,
I mean,
I just gotta give you.
If Stuart, that's what he's gonna do with Stuart. That's what I built him to be. Is basically Jesus' like right-handed man.
I just gotta give you a lot of crap, Stuart. You know that, right?
No, that's fine. I'm not offended. I'm working on this, and the problem is, like, you're trying to engage me once in a while, and I'm writing like complicated sentences, and so
Yeah.
I'm not purposely ignoring you, but once in a while, just nothing occurs.
Yeah, I understand that. You were quiet for a while we were talking about our pains, but we could see you still moving on the screen, so you were mostly just using us for background noise at this point, since you didn't need our input, since we don't know PTA as well.
Yeah.
Did you? I was watching something. It's for a friend. Did you state that it's items on your Pokemon versus just items in general? Because I know that was one thing we had to clarify when we were on the PTU version.
Right. You may not use.
Will Jesus burst with Arceus? I don't think so. But that's Stuart's call.
No, he'll burst with Ludicolo because.
Racism.
Wait, what does he have? He has that Electros.
That's his favorite.
I started the Zebstrika for him so he could ride off into the sunset with Scarlet. What else does he have? Because I think he has one more, right?
No, I don't think he's used any others because it was a
Well,
3
he hasn't used them, but he has 2 others that were statted for the Infinity War. So it's not canon that he has these yet, but
Yeah. But I think you're with me on this, Big Me. We talk about our Patreon characters a lot because there are characters. There are children in a sense, and we're handing them to Stuart, who has not a lot of experience with Pokemon.
I mean, I wouldn't say he has a lot of experience, but it's just like anything. Like any character you create in anything is always you always see it as a child of yours.
Mhm.
It's always
I
like
think-
a kid.
I think part of it is quite literally we don't have as much control over it. And so when we see it, we're like, oh, my baby boy's doing so good, or something like that.
As long as to be a charismatic wingman for Jesus, I'm pretty fine with however my guy turns out.
Yeah, and, was Lytic exactly how I expected? No, but I love the way he turned out.
Yeah.
And there's a few things that I'm really glad happened. Well, number one, I'm glad he didn't die, but I was fine with him dying because it made sense.
You can thank Mumkey for that. Mumkey.
Yeah, you told me Monkey didn't want to kill a Patreon character and he wanted to kill Psy for the meme, so it's just like...
I think he and Psy are still getting along because he helped Psy with his Kickstarter, so I think that's good.
It might be one of those political fights where they're doing it for the kind of the exposure more than anything.
No, there was some bad blood. Well, okay, so Mumkey's got an interesting sense of humor. We all know that. He's got a real twisted sense, and I respect it. I think he's very good with it. However, that sense of humor attracts a certain crowd, and they're not always the most supportive or wholesome bunch. And they like trolling. They like just doing some things that are a little questionable. Definitely.
I mean, for example, if you see the chat from the
Infinity War. Oof.
Infinity War trade, like your views went up a lot, but that chat was like decently thick.
That was some pretty toxic stuff. Now, I appreciate them for showing up. I do not blame them because I invited them to something fairly alien that's really weird, that probably most people do not enjoy. So
How could
yeah,
you not like D&D or Pokemon? Like, really?
I mean, if Monkey was DMing, they'd probably be more into it. But Monkey was a guest in something that he wasn't really like the star of. So it was very strange. And so I'm sure if he was the star, they would be more on board. But yeah, so essentially, Sai was in a lot of Monkey content, and he's got, I'll say, interesting tastes. He's like one of those people that unironically enjoys lolly things, and he's made it very public in Monkey, like in some of Monkey's videos, where they had a little what is it called? They had a podcast series called Sai Gets Monkey Into, where he tries to convince Monkey that like certain video games are cool or certain technologies are cool, and he tried to get Monkey into lolly, and that was the most awkward, uncomfortable podcast I ever listened to. And since then, Monkey's fans have just been memeing and kind of, I wouldn't say harass, but borderline harassing him. And it's like, ooh, yeah, no, I can't do that.
I mean, depending on like what their topics are, but something that's like that is, I would never topic to do a podcast to try and get someone into. Like those are very niche things that people like.
Yeah, and
that's like a niche thing. Like either you like it or you don't. And get someone to like it is very weird.
He was going into very specifics, and now, the only thing that I kind of raised an eyebrow out, because I didn't understand his definition, because he called Raven from Teen Titans a lolly, and I'm like, not really.
No.
Not really at all. Like, I mean, if you want to argue but whatever. See, this is the point where I stop the conversation, because I don't want to go any further. So,
your channel, no. Understand.
This is not the time or place, so.
And, back on the thing, I wish well for my character, and Stuart has evil, conniving plans, and I look forward to them.
Thank you.
It's like my character actually, when I originally created him before I even started pledging, like when I started watching, the role he probably end up having now is not as big as I planned it to have when I was creating him. Because I created him back in the poor oligarch thing when it was Jesus' little diddle-a-dun was a joke. And that was like, Jesus, I didn't even know Jesus was going to be continued in the campaign, let alone become Scarlet's boyfriend. So like, I've had this character the entire time, and I know he'll be eventually a Jesus, and Jesus will be reoccurring, so technically my character could be reoccurring because he's like Jesus' friend.
Hey, Takoa.
Hey there.
Hey, Takoa! Welcome, buddy!
What's up, Tak? We made a class.
Yes, I can see that.
We're so nerdy.
Yeah, I just got finished with Merc's game, so.
Well, because I think he had to finish so that I could go over to JT campaign.
Oh, I see. Wow, at this late at night?
Yeah, and he works at 5 in the morning.
Jeez.
Yeah. I didn't understand either. Do you think Scarlet will make it? That person obviously hasn't seen, so I'm not going to comment to that.
Oh, no? Do you think...
someone was saying, do you think Scarlet will make it?
Oh, yeah, Thunder, that's been resolved, and I suggest watching Infinity War and the post-Infinity War streams, and you could do that by pledging to our Patreon for $5 a month. And
or waiting 5 months for the content to come out.
Yeah, it will probably be longer than that, because I did the first Puffin Forest session the other day. That's going until the end of August. And then there's another session after Puffin Forest, which is like another 4 hours. That'll take a month. And then there's Puffin Forest Part 2. That'll take a month. And then the post...
Plus also, aren't you doing the Mercer thing this fall as well?
Yeah, there's Post Puffin, which was the battle between Prism and Lavi and them. So that'll take another month. And then... Like, this is, like, Infinity War is going to be, like, February of next year. It's going to be a while.
Okay, yeah, I really do need to go onto the Patreon streams then to be able to actually see this stuff.
Yeah, no,
which I can, because
it's unfortunate how long it is, but it's kind of the thing is
they're getting better and better. Like, I'm treating this more like a show than a game, and even Next Wednesday is the Scarlet animation, and I was really proud of that one. We hired a special VA to do Layla's voice and everything.
Nice.
Like the thing is like you're getting to the point where you want to be releasing something that would feel at least one thing a week.
Yeah.
Whether it be animations or like little stories, or even if like eventually start releasing tickets.
I mean, like now that you have an animator, like.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, have they finished their other project?
Yes, Underverse is done. So Jakey is now with us full time, but she's also working on her original show called like Metadora, and it's really good. She's got a bunch of characters that I really like. So yeah. So she'll be working on Metadora, but she'll just kind of go at that at her own pace, and she's just kind of giving a middle finger to her Undertale fans. So
yeah. I also love the what was it, the thing you're talking about, like you would have her do for the contest, the little dance that we joked about.
The dance. Oh, yeah, I thought about it. Just gonna need to. That is way in season 2, so that is at the back of my mind.
I know. I'm just like that is like one thing I remember you talking. Which I would find adorable.
Hints that they'll be eventually doing a contest.
Yeah.
It's. I mean, it is one of the 100 tier characters that has to deal with it though. So.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm excited for the upcoming stuff. Only partially because I think Poe will be appearing soon, but that's. Honestly, I'm just like excited to see what you guys are going to be doing in the future, because I know that you're hitting an area that you've been wanting to hit for a long time, and I think that the players have been excited about finally being able to hit that spot because there have been so many jokes throughout the series about wanting to go there. So, yeah.
Yeah, so, like I think it was literally over 6 months ago. Let's go to the Safari Zone. Yeah, about that.
Yeah. Detours.
Want to go to the Safari Zone? Nope, we're going to space.
Yeah. We're going, actually not even into space. We're going between dimensions in
space.
Space, if it can be called. What is the area that lies between two dimensions?
Ultra space.
There you go. Fine. Oh my god.
What?
Ooh, it's not normal space. It's ultra.
Someone asked. Puff and Force plays with you guys, and I said yes. Let me get you his special intro that we made. I will share this because I am very proud of this intro. So Puff and Forest and his friends play like police officers in our story, and so because they're kind of bumbling police officers, I made a special intro, very Brooklyn Nine-Nine. If you've ever seen that show, it's great.
See, I'm waiting for him to do one of his like little D&D animates on something that happened in the PTU campaign.
He said he was going to, however, that may be on the back burner. So.
Well, I mean, yeah, he's got a lot of campaign stuff. Like, I mean, the amount of content he makes from like, oh, I did this once in the campaign is insane. Like the amount of campaigns he had to play in to get to that point is just Jesus.
I am very much waiting to find out what happened to those players on the moon.
Oh yeah, no, I asked him about this. They basically, the moon was a later level thing. They're supposed to come back to it at later level.
Yeah.
So they had to go through the entire moon at the level it was, at the difficulty he had made it, trying to figure out a way to reactivate the beacon so they could get sent back to Earth.
Yeah. No, I can't wait for the animatic that actually goes and you know.
Oh, the part 2.
Because you know he after that happened he's like, yeah, that's never gonna happen. They'll never be able to. Oh god. And then they get there and they're just like, well, that's the end of this session.
Yeah.
There are a lot of good amount of content from a bunch of different guys.
Like I really want to tell Finn about the so he has that joke about darkness. My campaign just had silence. Where now silence is a gag for us. Like we're like, oh, I cast silence. Because it's similar effects. The only difference is, okay, so darkness you can't see. Silence, no caster can cast spells within that vicinity. And we were in a corridor.
That's not true. As long as they don't require a vocal component, you can.
Well, all of our the casters we were all required both components. It was a mage, a necromancer, cleric. So any spell, it was a mage. Sorry, a wizard who was a necromancer. He was a wizard. It was a cleric, and then I was a warlock, and all of our spells needed the vocal bits. I think I was the only one who technically can, because I think warlock casts spells a bit differently.
Well, I mean, like, actually, there are a large number of both attack spells and non-attack spells that are sign only.
Yeah, but we were low level. This is low level, so most of it's vocal. But we're in a corridor.
Burning hands and stuff. Oh, I'll find out.
Yeah.
Keep going.
But we're in a corridor, and so like it was in like a cross section of corridor, and it was like literally almost in a cross section, and it was a door, and so we cast it, opens a door. There's a bunch of enemies on the other side of the door, and so combat starts. We can't talk, we can't discuss with each other. The only way to get out of it is to run away or to wings and get outside of the zone of silence. But once you get out of the zone, you really can't see the other side, unless I ran the way I did. So we couldn't cast spells. The majority of us are casters, so we couldn't cast any of our spells. So we all had to spend our first turn of combat getting outside the zone. And then we all got outside the zone. All the melee people stayed inside so they could deal with it. So then I turn around. As Warlock, I had already used one, so I had one spell slot left because I was low level. I'm like, oh, I'll just collapse the doorway. That way they can't get through. And it's like, oh, Shatter. Shatter can collapse. Like, it does damage to, like, walls and stuff like that, so I'll just cave in the tunnel. I send out Shatter. Guess what the second effect of silence is? It nullifies all thunder-based damage. Shatter is a thunder-based spell. So I cast my spell, it goes in, it makes contact, and poof, just vanishes. And it's like, we almost had a TPK because of that damn silence. Because it was in a cross section, so we had people in every one of the hallways that were just trying to get out of the zone, and then we were getting picked off by like a giant ogre and a couple of like, I think they're like half ogre, half orcs. It's like these big tanky dudes, and it was just like, oh my god. But now we ridicule the paladin. I mean, not the paladin. We ridicule the cleric anytime he's like, guys, I got MD. I'm like, what? You gonna cast silence?
I mean, if it was his, he could also just dispel it on the first round of combat.
Well, because it's not stated that way, and he didn't state how he wanted to do it. He just said, I'm gonna put silence up. He didn't give a ramifications of like how it was, and in the spell it doesn't state that you can take it down.
It's concentration.
Yeah, I don't know, but the GM just ruled it basically at the beginning for like any concentration spell, you have to say the ramifications of how long you're gonna keep it up or what you're gonna do to keep it up.
Or so you bring concentration.
Yeah, he didn't specify that though when he cast it. He just said, I'm going to cast silence, center it on this point. And it's a 10-minute spell. So the GM was like...
concentration up to 10 minutes.
Oh, it was a situation, but it was like half the way the DM ruled the spell and half have him just... I mean, really, you go up to a door, you cast a field spell that would silence everything within 20 feet of the door.
Well, yeah, not only silences, but it also deafens. So,
yeah.
I mean, while you're in it, nothing can be heard whatsoever.
Yeah, so he cast it on a door frame because he hears voices on the other side of the door. So it's just kind of like, why would you cast silence on your side of the door when it's an area of effect spell, and they're obviously on the other side of the door, so they're within range of your spell.
Yeah, so they'll be affected by it too.
Yeah, so he literally casts it, and then he slams the door open, obviously not making a noise, but it basically would be the equivalent of slamming it open. And then he looks at the doorway, and there are the four, the ogre and the 3 half-orc, half-ogres, just staring at him through the doorway.
Inside the bubble, right?
Oh yeah, all of us were inside the bubble.
Yeah, so they would basically be like, they would look at him and probably start shouting and realize they can't call for help either.
Well, they realized before the door was even open because he cast a spell, and then he turned around, looked at us, and then opened the door. So they were talking when he cast the spell, so they stopped being able to hear each other and say anything.
I think
so. They realized we were there before he even opened the door.
I think this works. There we go. Pokemon Tabletop.
Alrighty.
Yeah, Pokemon Tabletop Adventures 2.0.
Now we need like a one shot to like try it out.
Prereq Ace Trainer and Nuzlocke runners are those who only accept the best of the best Pokemon. They will remove the weak from their party and rely on luck and grit on their journey. Those that take this path gain additional benefits so long as they are disciplined enough to follow the self-imposed penalties. Pick one skill, Browbeat and Tireless, cross-class unique to Ace Trainer. Base features, one chance, status legal. Trainers may only capture the first Pokemon they encounter in a location determined by the GM. Nuzlocke runners get a -2 modifier. Nuzlocke runners get a +200. You know what? Just Nuzlocke runners may not capture any other Pokemon.
I like that the first line is Nuzlocke runners are those who only accept the best of the best Pokemon. And their determination of what is the best is, oh, it's the first thing that popped up. It must be!
Yeah.
So
that's actually that rule. I mean, if Stuart wants to explain it, is a bit of a GM discretion.
Yeah. Fainting rule. Your Pokemon faints. Any Pokemon that faints is dead. The rule is any Pokemon that faints is dead and must be released. Carrot, your Pokemon do not faint unless they reach -20. Let's make this 15%.
I think we put it 15 in the other one.
Yeah.
Oh, so they can fight. What you're saying is they can fight past.
Yeah. You must surrender any fainted Pokemon to the nearest Pokemon Center. Mechanic. Every feature has a rule that must be followed in order to gain the benefits. If a player breaks the base feature rule, the trainer permanently loses the benefit carrot of the feature while still retaining the negative stick. So, Nuzlocke runner
so
features.
Lose the benefit, keep the punishment.
Yep.
Yeah, this class is way more aggressive in PTA than it is in PTU. PTU is kind of nice.
Yeah, this one. Yeah, it's like let's see, a fair fight daily. Every 5 levels gain, you may perform this feature another times per day. Target enemy trainer. Target. Yeah, okay. Rule: any Pokemon faints is dead. Oh, you may not have an unfair advantage over your opponent.
Yeah, so that's Pokemon equal level and team party the same size.
Your Pokemon's the carrot is your Pokemon's next status move to gain priority. Stick, you may not have more Pokemon in your party than your opponent. So you can activate it, and as long as you have equal or less Pokemon, you can have it.
I think also this rule includes, like, if you have 6 on you and you go into battle against someone with 5, you just have to automatically rule one Pokemon out.
Mm-hmm. If you have 6...
Which would be funny if you have 6, and you're just fighting a trainer that only has 1. And they're just like, well...
If you have more Pokemon in your party, you simply choose Pokemon not to use to the until you are
If
equal.
you could burst with the Pokemon, which Pokemon would it be?
Okay.
I think you already have yours, right, from the campaign?
Nuzlocke runner, a Pokemon.
Oh, for that one?
phase.
No, I was just saying, I thought that was the one you wanted to, or is that just like one?
No, that's just for that character. He just had a theme going, and I was like, let's just... So, we've got a game that we play every other Friday, which is Burst Heart, which actually has to deal with bursting with Pokemon.
Oh, we've talked about the campaign.
Oh, you already have? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Mine is basically a fairy trainer, so he'll have... hopefully, his 3 burst forms will be Aromatisse, Whimsicott, and Alolan Ninetales. For his 3 fairy. Basically, healing, defense, offense.
But in general, if you Takoa of this world could burst one. So I think that's what he's asking. Say Stuart has no idea on what you would do in.
Yeah, that's really hard as well. Like, who would I personally?
So I think you're gonna burst with your Cubone Marowak in the game.
Yeah, the Bone Lord is definitely gonna burst with Marowak, of course, because that's what Bone Lord does.
Is it gonna be a Alolan Marowak or is it gonna be normal Marowak?
I like Alolan. Alolan is my favorite Marowak.
Because it has the little X on the back. better bones, and it has like a little like skeleton to it.
First of all, Alolan Marowak is just so cool. It's what Marowak should have been the entire time.
Oh no, totally. It is just flat out better.
Yeah.
It is the better Marowak. There's no
Like-
question about that.
Have you seen like those? Someone did like these. It's like disappointing evolutions. So it's like all these Pokemon are disappointing in their evolutions, and the Cubone is like, hopefully, when I evolve, I'll be over all my issues. And it's like, oh, I'm evolving, and it's like a Marowak. It's like, now the skull's attached to my head.
Yeah, but then there's the Alolan one going like, yeah, but now you can dance really awesome.
Well, yeah, because that's another series, and there's like one. It's like a Baneri's. When I evolve, I become something strong and. Why am I sexy? Why is this a thing?
There's this one great comic involving that, where it was like so and so as a Lopunny, and it's they're just saying like, it's cute and it's all this, and he's just like, you know what, that's fine, I've had enough of this, and he just sways his hip angrily as he walks away.
I mean, honestly, like the whole thing with Lopunnies is it's just the way that they have them posed. Like if they didn't have them posed in that way, it wouldn't be such a feminine, sexy thing.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's just the fact that they pose that way as if they were covering their chest, which they actually don't have anything on their chest. Like it's a very gender neutral Pokemon. Besides the fact that they pose the Pokemon that way, and its burst form looks like a boxing,
so like
a girl boxing clothes.
Thinking more about that burst type stuff, and just thinking like which Pokemon I would even do this with. I guess it really comes down to if we had a world where that kind of stuff was actually going on. I think I would actually burst with what my favorite Pokemon is, because it would just be one that I'd have with me all the time, and then if needed, if I needed to go into a burst form, it'd just be the one that I would have, and that's Absol.
Yeah.
I think, God, my favorite Pokemon changes like almost on a daily basis, but at the moment, if I had to pick a Pokemon I'd burst with, it'd probably be Marshadow, because I just love his design so much. Love Marshadow's just got a cool design. Like there's nothing short of cool.
Nothing wrong with it. It just needed to be in a better movie.
I'll say, for my answers, so in the campaign, my starter, due to a lot of creative input from Takala, is a Mudbray, which is basically a freaking tank of a Pokemon.
Oh my god, it's the strongest ground type Pokemon in the game. It
becomes the strongest Pokemon in the game. I mean, it's like this Pokemon, every time it gets hit by an attack, and if it's like a Fury Claws that does 5 attacks, it counts every time. Every time it gets hit, it goes up a combat stage and
it is the highest attack ground type Pokemon in the game. So when that thing does Earthquake, nothing survives.
So basically, when I get this thing fully statted and I burst with it, it's going to be me looking pretty fly as I walk around and just tremors. The earth is just going to tremor under my feet. And like I can't die because every time I get hit, my defense goes up.
Unless they hit you with like Giga Drain.
Yeah, unless they hit me with something that ignores the. But I mean, I'm gonna be in the heat of the battle. I'm not gonna be dealing with a lot of special type attacks.
No, oh well, that's not true. But it will be funny to be like, you get all set up for that, and all of a sudden the opponent just does one of those ones that just totally negates all bonuses and penalties, and you're like, ah, wait, what?
Well, that's also the thing. Like, what I want to do down the line. If I get 2, my secondary one is going to be a flying type Pokemon. But regards to real life, it's a cross between. So, my 2 favorite Pokemon, it shuffles between them. Hardcore, I've always loved Eevee. Always loved Eevee. Always will love Eevee. Lopunny has become a pretty good fave of mine, just because I like the way it works as a Pokemon. Like everything about it, other than the weird looks they give it. I would burst with one of those 2, but again, I'll get
you didn't say Pidgeotto. I am so surprised you didn't say Pidgeotto.
Oh, Pidgeot? I mean, flying would be cool, but I mean, I guess
game you want a Pidgey and a Pidgeot.
Oh, well, yeah, I love it because it's a very versatile bird Pokemon, but Eevee is by far still my fave.
Yeah.
It's just like, I mean, it would be cool because, yeah, you burst with a Pidgeot, and you're basically a human with angel wings. You're an angel. At that
Depends
point.
on how.
I mean, if I
they
could merge with
first.
Mega Absol's form, I mean, I'd have the same thing.
Yeah. Well, if I merged with Mega Pidgeot, I mean, I'm a very flamboyant angel.
Oh, I can't wait. Like, I still need to get an artist to actually, start planning out the Aromatisse burst and the Whimsicott burst, because I have some plans for that. I have no idea when it comes to the low and Ninetales.
Let's say another one I mean, a Noivern, I believe a Noivern burst would be pretty badass, though.
Okay, I think it is 12:30. I'm gonna call it a night, fellas.
Okay,
Alright.
have a good night, Stuart.
Yep.
Always a pleasure.
Let me give a quick little goodbye. So thank you everyone for joining us. If you want to see this Nuzlocke class, you can pledge to our Patreon. $5 a month will give you access to all of our monthly lore packets. And actually, as a bit of a bonus, I think I'm gonna Problem is, I think all of the people who bought the Watashi wallpaper were patrons, and I feel terrible because I was going to release that as the lore packet this month, and I'm like, no, every patron bought one. And I'm like,
That's because we want to support you, man.
I know, I appreciate that, but that's like real turdy. If I
I was
just
gonna say, like, no, that's the thing. Is like, I thought about it, but I was like, I kind of looked at it. I'm like, well, okay, you're on the discount code. Plus, as a patron, I already get a discount to your store, anyways. So just like me buying this is more so just taking up someone else's thing.
I haven't done it yet because I'm down to like $20. I'm like, I need to get to Tuesday.
dude, I'm just gonna send you the freaking wallpaper. Actually, no, because I'm going to give the first so many sales to the artist who did it, because he didn't charge us dick for Watashi's poster. Like,
That's good.
It's so good, and
I mean, honestly, you could have him do more because these things are amazing. I would love to see the other characters in like this kind of style.
oh, he's working on a Team Vision one. I don't know if I told you.
I think you asked Bike and I if you could use our characters, but you decided not to in the end, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
But if you want to do something like that and like give it to patrons, maybe do it for the Vision one and leave this one as the $3.99.
Yeah.
Okay.
That'd be totally fun.
And just say ahead of time,
get
hey,
more
this
of
is
these.
going to be a free download for
For patrons.
the patrons.
Yeah. Okay. That works. Or I'll release both the Watashi one and the Team Vision one at the same time and say patrons get free wallpapers, because that's just a thing.
Even
way,
because
I
also,
would
like,
get
if
more
it's
of
at
these.
$3.99 and we apply our patron discount, that takes it down to like $2.
So yeah,
I didn't know there was a discount, so I paid the full thing, but I don't mind. It was $4.
I
It's
am
just the
sorry.
code you enter in the store, but yeah,
No,
exactly.
and most likely I'm just gonna be doing it next month. I'm waiting on the paycheck to come in.
Yeah, no, that's bro. You help us way more than you need to.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
dude.
and I'm gonna keep doing that, but that's just what I do.
That's very swell. Thank you so much. All right, so I think I'm going to end it now. So if you guys want to buy the Watashi poster, who's adorable and worst best girl, I suggest doing that. See you guys around. Bye bye.
Later.